Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Roundabout Cast, episode 27?
Epic Gamer Edition.
Yeah, it might be 26, but whatever. We're recording this near the end of the year. We don't have much to talk about today, but they're going to be chunky topics. The first one is going to be a little different from anything we've done on this podcast, which is we all got a couple of drinks. We're all feeling argumentative. Bradley's burping.
I'm ready to fight.
And we're going to discuss what our favorite game of the year as a collective is.
A collective.
So if we were all like melted into one person, these would be the games of the year for that person.
Yeah.
Because that's just the nature of doing something like this.
We all have to have similar wavelengths, otherwise we can't be friends anymore.
It's true. Friendships will be broken, and that's the fun. And then after that, we'll talk about One Piece.
I'm excited.
We'll cool down with something that won't have any arguments, right, Joe?
No.
We're gonna have a good time.
I will never argue about One Piece ever.
Never.
Man, I knew I was forgetting something.
Is there a game on the list that I should add, Tyler?
No, I forgot to read One Piece.
Oh, it's cool. We're talking about Skypiea, which you've gone through.
I'm not allowed to talk about that anymore. I think.
Okay.
You can try.
Pretty pleased.
Anyways, first,
just so the listeners are like with us, do we want to do like a quick run through of the games on the list?
Yeah, I'm gonna read all 37 games on the list.
Damn.
And then what we're doing is, in a certain order of our first letter of our first names, we are going to ask the games one by one, and whoever is most sentimental about that game can say like a eulogy for it. I'm stealing this format from the Let's Fight a Boss podcast.
Hey, go listen to it.
Go listen to it, but also listen to us.
But also comment your favorite game of 2019 in the comments.
Yeah. So first, let me list some games that we didn't get time to play. None of us played it, but someone on the podcast would enjoy playing it, which includes Disco Elysium, Dragon Quest XI. Me and Joe started, but we didn't get far enough with how hectic things got near the end of the year. Yakuza 3 and 4 came out this year, and Judgment.
Ooh.
So there was 3 Yakuza games in 1 year.
What the
Shenmue 3.
Shenmue 3 also came out. Yeah, good point.
I'm just thinking of that Twitter video where the Yakuza character finds out about sex and he slams his fist on the table.
That's not what's actually happening in that
Well,
video,
I know, but it's funny.
And then, so as much as I love the Yakuza series, I was Yakuza out this year, so maybe early 2019 I can get to those. And Control, which apparently is a Game of the Year contender and has won Game of the Year in certain publications.
Yeah, I think it won IGN's Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So,
but
obviously
IGN
it must be good, right?
IGN gave Death Stranding a 6.8 and Pokemon Sword and Shield a 9.
Yeah,
so they're a little funky.
Being a hater, Pokemon Sword and Shield has a lot of good and a lot of bad.
Yeah. We'll talk about it because it's on the list. Let me go through the list real quick. We got Jedi Fallen Order, Death Stranding, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Apex Legends, Outer Worlds, Sekiro,
Shadows Die Twice.
Resident Evil 2 Remake, Borderlands 3, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Devil May Cry 5, Kingdom Hearts 3, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Anthem, Luigi's Mansion 3, Katana Zero, Bloodstain, Ritual of the Night, Super Mario Maker 2, Wargroove, Cadence of Hyrule, Tetris 99, Ring Fit Adventure, Slay the Spire, Destiny 2, Jump Force, Phoenix Wright Ace Trilogy, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening HD, Anno 1800, Puyo Puyo Champions, Tekken, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Link Edition, Pokemon Masters, Astral Chain, Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Coming in for the second year of the row.
Bradley, what is the name of the Momodora sequel?
Oh, it's Minoria. I should have filled that out.
Minoria. League of Legends / Teamfight Tactics and Smash Ultimate. Now, you you might notice that 3 of those games, I think maybe 4, are actually games from last year or previous years. But they're ongoing games that got updates that were played a lot by us this year. So I thought it would be fair to add them back in.
Yeah.
All right, Bradley, I'm going to give you the axe.
Ooh,
Well,
boy.
So the way it works is we can discuss and try to talk someone out of it, but at the end of the day, the person who gets the final say gets rotated out.
Y'all, I'm about to obliterate these fucking video games.
All right, Bradley, who you obliterating?
There's really one real answer here for the first one that should be axed, but I'll let Bradley take it.
I
As
mean,
much as
yeah,
I really enjoyed it, but I think it's fair to cut out Tetris 99.
Ooh, as the worst game of this list.
Well, I mean, not the worst game.
I mean,
know
this
it's
is-
just- it's not going to be the best one.
But it's an ordered list. I would argue.
Oh,
that,
is it an? Oh, we're ordering it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay,
It'll add to the spiciness.
let's see. Worst game on here. The worst one. Okay, if I'm gonna cut one, honestly, and I feel free to disagree. That's what we're doing here. Let me take a swig of my.
Yeah.
Gotta work up the courage to say it.
Okay.
Jump Force was not as good as it could have been. I want to cut Jump Force.
Yeah. Or I have no agreement or no disagreements with that.
It could have been so much better.
I haven't played anything of Jump Force, but everything I've seen of it has not been interesting at all as a fighting game. So
I played it with Tyler and Bradley a little bit, and it was fun. Like, it was a fun dick around game, but at the end of the day, it's depressing. The roster is not as good as it could be either. The art style is hideous.
I love the hideous art style. I will admit it's awful. A little bit.
Gross. Well,
It is a choice.
all right. It is a choice someone made on the dev team, and I mean, we live with it now.
I mean, it's like somebody on the dev team was like, "Hey, what if our art style was just all of our figurines coming to life?"
I guess with realistic textures and all. Ugh.
ugh.
It's got nice explodies though, but yeah, let's.
Didn't have enough JoJo's.
Yeah, it's true.
I'll say that's a big thing. I hate how it's always gotta be
Dragon Ball
Jotaro
Z.
and Dio.
Yeah.
Jump
Alright,
Force
well,
is gone.
Any last words about Jump Force?
Nah, it's gone. It's dead. I moved it
Alright.
to the 37th best game
Gone.
of the year.
Yep. My turn, right?
Yes.
Your turn.
Okay. I don't know how this got placed above one other thing, but I'm gonna ask Anthem.
What do
You know what?
Placed? Oh, yeah.
I was watching a YouTuber talk about he didn't want to say the worst games of, I think it was the decade, but it was the most disappointing games of the decade.
Jesus.
And I feel like disappointing is a good word.
I would
describe-
agree with you, Tyler. You and I think both played the beta, and you and I were like, oh, okay,
I loved the beta.
yeah,
But I had a couple of doubts. Like, after seeing, like, the world is beautiful. I didn't like. I encountered major game breaking bugs with it,
mm-hmm.
but I saw like this light version of Diablo, like maybe this Diablo 1's type of like gameplay systems and advancement where, you know, you have all these different abilities that you can equip to each one. I was like, oh dude, this would be really cool when like I'm really excited to see if like the full version like builds on top of all these abilities and like makes interesting exotic weapons and everything, but
yeah,
it didn't. And
yeah. There was a lot of cool ideas there, but like it was never followed through, and I think part of that too was, it was just the scope of what they were trying to was way too big at one time, you know. And but like the problem being with those type of games where it's a loot fest is you have to have content. There's a game on here that has all that content and is fucking great, and we play it basically every day now. And it does it perfectly. But
There's
like,
a couple games on this list that have the content. Actually. Yeah.
I'm excited to see the re-release of Anthem, which will happen.
Yeah.
Pro tip, I have faith that Anthem will get a re-release like Final Fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
That's my speculation. So pick it up maybe while it's $3. Let it sit in that Origin library. Or Xbox console, PlayStation 4, whatever you feel. But I don't know. That's my theory. Is since the game isn't dead yet, they keep having a couple of dev blogs here and there. My theory is it's gonna get a full EA publicity re-release.
Didn't that game also have a problem of like they just didn't have a good long planned support like strategy that they weren't adding stuff fast enough, which I think is a problem another game on the system I have.
According to the dev blog, which this is the last thing I'll say about
Yeah,
it, they released this like 15-page dev blog about it, like interview about Anthem. Apparently the game was like in pre-production for like 5 years, and then they only had 2 years worth of production time on like a 5-year idea.
Mm-hmm.
That explains a lot.
Yeah.
They were trying to like centralize the game entirely around the flying mechanic, but there was a lot of like ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it was just up in the air, literally and metaphorically, a lot. Like the flying wasn't made fun for a really long time, according to one of the devs, and eventually like they were able to make it like, all right, this is it, but they still had all these technical issues and not a long-term plan yet for this game. They had barely just like finished developing.
Yeah, that's the one big thing, is that they figured out how to make flying for that type of game fun. Like it was really enjoyable to fly in that game, but everything else was kind of
it has the a little bit of the Destiny effect where it's unfortunate. I think the engine provided a lot of limitations, but I think they have a lot of potential to bring Anthem or Anthem 2, whatever happens to the series. I don't think they're giving up on it yet.
Maybe Anthem 2 will get higher than 36 best game of the year next year.
Anthem, A Realm Reborn.
Anthem 2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right, Tyler, is there a game on this list that you would like?
Yeah, man. I want to scrap. Where was it?
Are you on the Google Docs with us?
Yeah, I'm on this.
I don't see your animal.
Oh, I'm not on the Google Doc. I'm on this the paste
I
menu.
knew it.
Oh, go to the Google Doc.
I know how you fucking operate.
Joe, are you anonymous chipmunk?
I guess so. You're anonymous chameleon.
Oh, that's badass.
Not so anonymous anymore.
It has to be something I. Oh, you know what?
No, it doesn't have to be something you played, but there might be an argument if it's something someone else cares about.
I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna probably put down Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
It was a really, really cool idea, and like the game is great. It really is.
This low on the list? It seems like Bradley had a lot of fun with it.
Like I really enjoyed it. I played through it like twice in a row. Like
you know what? No.
You guys gotta order this, because then it'll be more fun to argue.
I remembered it. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy: The Duelist. Very easy.
No, wait, really?
Very easy. Very easy choice.
35th? We played so much of that fucking game.
That game shouldn't even be on this
No,
list.
that's great.
What are you talking about?
That is a guilty pleasure, and
You made us buy this game for you.
No, I did not. Willer made me buy it.
I did nothing.
There's a solution here. You have to duel for it.
Okay, hold on. How about we make a truce with Tetris 99? Maybe.
I'd be down for that.
I stand by what I said. Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Edition does not belong on that list.
What the fuck, man? Okay.
Damn.
All right.
I mean,
big plot twist. I was thinking
that would be the 35 eventually.
That's a great game. All right, let me talk about that game. That game has like every card. It has a really big, long campaign. I still get the itch to play it from time to time. We will probably still play this game. I don't know why it's going to be 35th on our list.
Bring it this weekend. We'll duel.
Fuck you. You don't like it. Oh, this is perfect. All right. How about I get rid of Destiny 2? No, it's too early. I'm coming.
You know, objectively, that can't happen.
All right, then.
What is Minoria?
That's a sequel to one of my favorite games.
Spoiler
alert.
I'm not
Bradley game.
good.
I'm not touch. Ooh. Well, Bradley, is Is it time for it to go now, or do you want to hold on to it for a little longer?
I mean, I'll hold on to it for a little bit.
Okay.
Well, it's your turn.
Slay the Spire. I know y'all didn't play it too much.
Was that 2019?
So
The Switch
it had its
version
official
was-
release in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So here's the thing about Slay the Spire. As someone who's played a bunch of card construction games, Slay the Spire is like the first, I think, video game to like get it really done right.
I haven't played a lot of it,
Yeah,
but it is unique.
I think it's very unique. I don't think it's nearly as fun as any actual like card construction games I've played in like real life. Like I think the best game I've played of that kind is like Legendary Alien, which is just hard as fuck.
Oh my
but
god.
it's tons of fun, I think. But Slay the Spire is extremely unique. I know for a lot of people it was like one of their best games they've ever played this year, but to me, I just was like, oh, this is a really good entry point for this kind of series of games, because if you don't know like how the games work or playing them before, it's a unique experience.
Yeah. It's very the deck building genre has like been built around multiplayer deck building games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a single player deck building game, which those exist.
But
you know,
it's
you
a-
can play
it's a
legendary
roguelike.
games by yourself, you
So-
know.
It is a roguelike, you're right. Which is cool. I think that's a really cool, neat way of doing it. I just I don't know. Like it was not a game really for me, and I'm a person that likes playing those deck construction games.
Fair enough. I'm very keen to try it, but I have not, so I won't really defend it.
I think there's a Switch version now.
There is, yeah, I'm definitely.
There
gonna-
is.
That is a top tier Switch title.
That is a
I
top tier Switch
agree.
game. The game's not bad. I want to just say the game is actually very, very good. I just have no like kind of strong connection to it. I don't think any of us else
We're
do.
gonna say it's this low on our list because none of us got to really get hooked, but I'm sure it might still hook one of us. But
Damn.
back to Bradley.
Slay the Spire.
Back to
fuels
the
my
lab
creative
again.
passion.
All
All right, y'all. I'm coming in with the heat right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give this game a good eulogy, because don't get me wrong, it's a good fucking game.
Ooh, it's time.
Marvel Ultimate
I
Alliance
knew
3.
it.
Oh.
I,
This game, if you are a Marvel boy, you should get this game.
we should
There's
beat
so
this
many
game.
characters. The movesets are really cool. I liked playing as Kamala Khan because she plays like Luffy. Like you have to like some of the challenge modes in this. You have to like really, me and Willa had to really strategize for some of these like
It's
challenges.
really fun. I'm
It's
not
Marvel
gonna.
has some
I'm not gonna
awesome
fight this
bosses.
because we didn't really have time to beat it, and I still kind of want to. But like, yeah, it's a good game. I didn't fall in love necessarily, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I mean we kind of fell off of it. So
Yeah. Joe, you got anything to say?
All I'm saying is Norman Osborn's world is probably one of the best boss
Fuck.
fights I've had this entire year.
That makes me sad that it's going this early.
There's some
because there is
cool-ass
some
boss
genuinely fantastic stuff.
it's
Mhm.
good.
I found the gimmick for us to beat Dormammu, by the way, and it's actually really cool. But
Ooh.
whatever. That's...
My only complaint about this is that is everything between the boss fights does not feel nearly as fun or as unique as those boss fights.
yeah.
You know, I wish there was something else that was a little bit more like kind of unique set pieces that we could do.
There's a couple times, like remember when we were doing the level where it's like Elektra's castle or some shit,
Yeah,
and like there was this cool part where we got to beat Kill Bill.
Dude, and like you were silhouettes against the
Oh, yeah, that's true.
windows.
I mean, yeah, but like it,
I'm not gonna fight it, but I do want to say that this is a good game that I do still want to play.
Yeah, it's really freaking good.
But it's gone.
it's gone.
Joe,
Yeah, it's gone.
Joe,
Yeah.
who dies next? Oh,
I could go for a bloodbath.
Oh fuck.
I could go for something that would. Oh, there's a couple on here that I really want to ask, but I know will spark an argument, and it's a question of whether or not I want to get into a fight right now.
yeah, you gotta think of arguments like a point system, where if
Yeah.
you argue too much, you don't get to argue later on, because
Okay.
you argued heavy in the beginning.
I'm going to axe Cadence of Hyrule, simply because Crypt of the Necrodancer is a much better game.
Oh fuck.
Bradley, what you got to say?
I mean,
this is your
yeah,
baby,
we can take it now because like
Alright.
I played through it twice. I really enjoyed it. but I mean, like it's clearly not the best game on this list.
So
32nd best game.
the reason why I say Crypt the Necrodancer is better is because the game is a rhythm-based game, and Crypt the Necrodancer is a roguelike game, whereas Cadence of Hyrule is an actual like Zelda game. I think it works better in Crypt the Necrodancer because every level is a different song, which means it's a different rhythm you have to play and beat to.
Yeah, and it's randomized
Yeah,
within that.
I guess I
rhythm.
will say,
Yeah.
like, I was having trouble with the Lost Woods, and like after the 50th time I heard that song, I was like, I'm okay, I get it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I could see that being grating. Because the song is not just a background thing; it is integral to the game mechanic.
Yeah, you can't just put it in the background. You can't just like turn the volume down.
I will say though, there are like 3 versions of every Legend of Zelda song in the game, and they are all fantastic.
I'm sure the soundtrack's great because the Crypt the Necrodancer soundtrack is fantastic. I have it.
Oh yeah.
It's just to me, Crypt the Necrodancer takes the gimmick that it has and really makes it feel special. Whereas Cadence of Hyrule, it takes it and it feels like, oh, we just took this and put it on like a Legend of Zelda map and went to town kind of thing. Crypt the Necrodancer just feels more tight in what it's made.
We are Smirnoff number 2, bitches.
I will
I'm on
say,
2. All right.
also, Cadence is probably one of my favorite female protagonists. I think she's got a cool design.
The
Yeah,
shovel.
Cadence
She's
is
in
cool.
Crypt the Necrodancer.
I know, but still, she comes back this year, and I still like Cadence.
All right. Tyler, it's your turn.
Um,
I'm just saying, by 25, we all gotta be on our second or third drinks. I'm just
Dude,
saying.
dude.
Well, granted, yours
Can I
are heavier
calm
than
down?
ours. Yeah, never mind.
yeah, I'm gonna trigger Bradley and Willer, but I'm gonna throw Ring Fit down there.
No.
Whew.
No.
Boy, there are worse games on this list.
Joe, sacrifice Anno 1800.
Wait,
No.
can Joe counter me?
I mean, yes. You gotta be.
No.
You
I'm
got.
not defending Ring Fit. I haven't played Ring Fit. You have to sacrifice something. That's not my fault.
Tyler,
Look,
Tyler. There are worse games than Ring Fit on this list that we can axe before Ring Fit.
Like Luigi's Mansion 3, because I didn't get to play it, but I hate those ghost designs.
I will throw one of my other games under the bus to save Ring Fit.
Let's do Joe. You're the most Luigi 3 Mansion guy. Is
Why am
this
I being brought into this? I have no connection to Ring Fit. So
I know, but we're
why
just.
does Tyler want to throw Ring Fit down right now?
Yeah. What is your
Ring Fit-
reasoning?
So, I played through the first world, and I haven't got, like, I did not play more than 2 sessions, like, I'll be honest. I played through the first world in my first session, and I think that was like 30 minutes. I felt the burn. It was a good little workout. Bradley does it in addition to his gym sessions,
Oh yeah.
and I think that's a good way to use it. I think it's, I don't know. I just don't like it, I guess, as a gym replacement or actually going outside and running. I would even rather run on a treadmill as opposed to Ring Fit.
But the thing is, it's not necessarily for you. It's to fit a lot of niches of a lot of people and just get them to be active in some way. And if you want, you can be super active with it. So I think it's doing a cool job that no other game has ever done.
I didn't say it was doing a bad job. And you said it right on the head. You know, it just wasn't for me.
All right.
Y'all, this game kicks my ass. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm on World 4 now. And holy shit.
I'm just
like,
asking. I just want to know how much does Joe love Luigi's Mansion?
Why? Why is Luigi's Mansion be the one being thrown under the bus here?
Well,
I
Because
just ignore you.
I'm
I
just-
threw it under the bus.
All right. Fuck it. All right. Tyler gets his way twice in a row because
Yeah, I guess it has to go at some point. But let it be known, Ring Fit is really fucking good. We even did a video on it.
yeah.
There's
Check.
only a couple. I think there's only a couple of games on this list that I would be like, don't purchase this, you know, or don't download this. But
And Ring Fit's one of them.
no, I would say if
Well, don't
I would
download Ring Fit, you
definitely,
need the actual thing to play the game.
I would definitely recommend Ring Fit to somebody. But since I haven't played Luigi's Mansion, I can't oust that one.
Yes, you
Uh,
can.
I tried to. I would throw Luigi's Mansion under the bus.
It's my turn, and I would like to throw a Luigi's Mansion under the bus. Joe, is that okay? Is it would be 30th.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you didn't beat it.
I haven't beaten it yet. It's one of those games I'm just slowly making progression for. As a Luigi's Mansion game, it's fun. I think the environment's really cool. I think there's some really fun like levels that I played, and I had a great time playing them. It's one of those things where like each level kind of wears down on you, where you're just like, all right, I want to beat the level now, and like when you get stuck on a puzzle, it makes me want to bash my head in because I feel like an idiot. But I still think the game's good. It's a fun little like game you can play around with friends, and like I haven't even touched the multiplayer part of the game either, so that's only like I've only done like 50% of it at that point. But the game's fun. I don't think it's nothing crazy good. It's a good Nintendo game. It's fun.
I've watched a good amount of footage of this game. It looks really nice. It looks fun, but I could definitely see some puzzles being grating.
Mm-hmm.
The environments look dope.
Yeah.
I think this would be my favorite Luigi's Mansion if I played it, which I haven't yet.
It's tons of fun. It doesn't have nearly as good as a soundtrack as I think the first one does, but that's just me.
Bradley.
All right, I'll take a sacrifice. I'll throw one of my babies under the bus because I think this is about where I can. Minoria. This game by Bomb Service it's a spiritual successor to one of my favorite games of all time, like top 3 games of all time.
Which I played this year.
Yeah, Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. I fucking love it. It's a Metroidvania, and it's the 4th in its series, and like, it's kind of the studio's magnum opus. Like, even they said, like, don't even play the first 3. Just go straight to this one.
Meant straight to Minoria?
No.
Straight to Momodora, Reverie Under the Moonlight. Like, the pixel art and the animations are so fucking fluid. I love it. So I was very excited for this, which is supposed to be a spiritual successor. And they kind of tried to do more with the combat. I think this is just like a worse bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It even has some of the same mechanics, but there's like less of them, I guess.
Mm.
I think the big deal that killed Minoria for me is that like what attracted me to Momodora in the first place was the art. And I frankly think the art style in this game is not charming.
Yeah, you seemed worried about it before the release, and it seems like, yeah, it just didn't live up.
Yeah.
Man, this I'm looking at Minoria. I prefer this. I don't know what to call it actually, like accurately describe it, but I very much like this art style. It reminds me of a game called oh, it's gone. It's too late.
It's gone.
It's too late.
It's gone, just like Minoria.
Massive Chalice.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh, look at this great art right here. I know why Bradley likes these games.
Well, the characters are cute, but the combat and art's really fun.
But also, you know,
If you
Joe,
Ooh.
midcast chat.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, no, okay, I never even got to that character.
Ooh. I'm gonna choose
How
Teppen.
about Tetris 99?
Teppen.
Tetris 99.
Teppen.
Joe, you guys are just being mean to me at this point.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are.
I mean, I'm not gonna fight one way or the other because I didn't play it.
Teppen is a Capcom card game. It's extremely unique. Willer loves this game because he's a Capcom fanboy, which is nothing wrong because I'm a Star Wars fanboy, which is why I like certain things. I tried playing it. It's not a game for me because one thing I like about card games is you have the time to think out your moves. Teppen is much more like you have to make split-second decisions and think a little bit ahead of what your split-second decisions are going to be in comparison.
It's if you typecast a card game to a fighting game.
It's exactly it. That's why it's so good.
That's why Willer likes it. I really like my strategy games being slow. Willer likes Punch Boys.
I like slow. There's a game on this list that's really slow and I really loved, but I mean, I'm not gonna fight it because I've been too fighty. I'm just getting bullied at this point.
You're not being
Let
bullied.
me say my Teppen analogy. You're all bullies. I'm gonna kill
Also,
you all.
you are the only two people that played this game,
It's
so I
true.
think it's fair.
It's true.
I realize Willer's a better developer in practice at this point, since I'm like looking at this list and I'm like, oh, Willer's played this game, this game, this game, and I'm like, I've got like 8 games on here.
Yeah, I feel like Tyler has the least amount of games on here, and then
I
it.
feel like the only game I didn't play was Katana Zero.
So all right, let me talk about Teppen. Teppen deserves to be way higher on this list, but it won't be because we're mind melded and we got a little dumber as a result. Teppen is the kind of game that made a bunch of fighting game big YouTubers love card games because the way it combines active strategy, fast paced strategy, like split second, last second decisions that can save you, all these cool counter plays that you can do. It's a fantastic game with gorgeous art. It's a really fun representation of the characters. If you like Capcom, get in here.
Not gonna lie, if Teppen was on the PC, I'd play it more often.
maybe one day, but that just
Wait,
for time's
Teppen
sake.
not on PC?
No, it's an iOS game
Oh, okay.
and Android. I play it on my. If you play that's the thing. If you play Teppen on your iPad, Teppen would be top 25 like it belongs. But no, I'm gonna play it on my phone. Tyler, which one of my babies are you gonna kill next?
Oh god.
Look. I'm just saying. There's like this.
Just throwing it out here.
I looked up Anno 1800. I actually have been like, man, I missed out on something.
The art and buildings in it looked really cool.
Tetris 99 could go now, I think.
It's the best game of the year.
I'll throw Tetris 99.
I really love Tetris 99, but at the end of the day, it is Battle Royale Tetris.
I just love that it exists.
Yeah.
Was that 2019?
It
really?
was.
Yeah, no?
It was early this year, as I recall. I want to kill one of my babies, but not quite yet. Is there something else?
I think there are a few out there you can get rid of.
Not real. What the fuck is Apex still doing on here? Hold on. Let's talk about Apex Legends. Tyler, do you think it should go higher? You really like this game.
I really liked Apex when it came out. It has probably one of my favorite releases to date. And I think it's the largest game ever with no publicity to ever come out.
And then lose all of its largeness.
Huh?
And then lose its like
It still has a really active player base.
But it's not as explosive.
Well,
as it was
obviously
before.
not. That's the point, is an explosion, but it's like, when's the last time you've seen an EA title get no publicity and then just do as well as it did?
It was a fantastic launch. We can keep it in. Like, do you still like it? Like, do you think now's a good time to go?
I think it's time for it to go.
I stopped playing it just because I started playing something else. Like, I had no qualms with Apex. It was made by it's Respawn. So I love Respawn. They're a great studio.
My qualms being that it's a battle royale game. That's about it.
Yeah,
Is
but
it-
Spellbreak though.
Ooh,
Whew.
I'm ready for that shit.
I'm gonna do it. How do you feel about the game's frequency of content? Because I hear that's what killed it in the end. Is it just wasn't putting up new content fast enough?
I mean, that was my complaint too, and I think that's the one thing that like think about this. So they came out with like 12, like eight people, I think, at launch. And this is the same thing I'm like, I think one of the reasons I don't like Overwatch 2 or what's another game that's got like a character roster list. But like, and I'll go like, this is why I do like League of Legends is there was like 2 years in a row where they came out with a champion like every other 2 weeks in League of Legends, and it was the worst and the best. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Because some really good trash came out of that, and I think if Apex Legends would have came out with had a better prepared character roster, it would have had a lot more longevity to it.
Let me flip the script here. Joe, how much do you love Anno 1800 for
Much
spot
more than
26?
I think.
Yeah,
Anno-
all right.
Yeah.
That's fair. Apex is gone then.
I'm okay with this.
All right.
Willard's turn.
No, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I just did Apex.
Oh, okay. Bradley's turn.
Oh fuck, y'all. You know how much I fucking enjoyed this game the week it came out.
Yeah.
Pokemon Masters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Okay.
it's,
Okay.
It's a really fun gacha game.
It is I'm keen to check it out. Gacha games are really good at their anniversary periods, so I'm down to go back to it.
There's
Art was great.
game I'd rather play. So I
I,
don't know.
I think people sleep a little bit on the gameplay of this game. There's more to it than people think.
Yeah, like you can really plan out your encounters.
You can. It took a little while to get to that point, but the art is also really great.
Oh yeah.
That's like this game is the best Pokemon story just because all Pokemon has such good character designs and good like base personalities, but all those characters only ever talk like 4 to 5 times. So this game gave them all a bunch of dialogue, and it's delightful to just hang out with them.
Yeah, like I'm usually someone who really hates games with a lot of dialogue, but the dialogue in this game was fantastic. Like whoever wrote it really deserves a nice cookie.
Nice cookie. Joe, who else deserves a nice cookie?
Me.
Hey.
Okay. Who's getting
Okay.
cut, Joe? That was my segue.
Okay, I know.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying me, because it's gonna be Puyo Puyo champions.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Not true.
just to defend Bradley's honor here, I don't think
You,
Puyo
you,
Puyo
you have to pick
champions.
another one. I'm sorry.
Try again.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Hmm.
Here's
See,
what
now we're
here's what I'm thinking. Or
I'd be cool with either.
You know what? I'm gonna cut Phoenix Wright Ace trilogy because it was an unmissable convention segment that could have been missed.
all right. I was very strategically just trying to get this to the top 25. This is actually the best game that came out this year, but it's also the best game that came out in 2001, 2004, and 2006.
Yeah, I thought y'all were gonna hold on to this one longer.
No,
As the fact that it's a remake, I can't really argue for pushing it much further.
the fact that it's a remake that adds nothing. It's not
Okay.
even a remake; it's a remaster.
Man, yeah, like there were even some of my games I was gonna cut before this one just because I knew how much you guys like this one.
Now, this is coming with a caveat. Like I said,
Yeah.
Phoenix Wright and Pokemon are maybe my 2 favorite franchises. If we're talking big franchises, Phoenix Wright might be my number 1. I am in love with these games, and this trilogy is great. Everyone should play it. Please give it a try.
Oh, I
Bradley
agree.
should get to pass the first case.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's a great trilogy. However, I've played it 3 times. I don't need a fourth time to buy it.
Like,
currently.
I will play it a 3rd time, but it doesn't mean you'll get higher on the list.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Tyler.
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. And a little while later, I go, "Hey, is it possible to get refunds on Because Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games. It was the first Zelda game I ever played.
Mhm.
And the fact that I got charged $60 for the art remake, which is fantastic. The art looks great. They also, I think, changed the theme for Telltale Heights, which I was a little pissed about.
Fucked up.
If you want to pay to replay Link's Awakening, which is really fun.
8 to 12 hours, though.
Yeah, this is your
Yeah.
game. Like if you want to replay Link's Awakening, this is your game. But just know that what you're getting is it's just Link's Awakening.
If you want to replay Link's Awakening, go buy a Game Boy and buy Link's Awakening XD on it.
Or
Like-
there's a lot of websites now that you can just emulate stuff on the browser.
We
It's
don't
Hey.
guess was there.
Are you talking about Google Stadia, Willard?
never.
Oh my
I would
God.
never be talking about it.
The only good thing about Link's Awakening is that we got drunk one night and I basically solved all the fishing puzzles for Bradley.
Yeah, I guess so.
Some of the fish were fucking hard.
I just remember sitting at the Disney World and be like, Bradley, I'm gonna catch this fish for you. He was like, go fucking ahead, Joe. I'd like to see you try. And then I did it.
Fucking hard.
Resounding moment of the year. All right, the list is getting a little tough now.
Oh man, I'm getting excited. This is when the shit gets good.
This is when it gets good.
This is where it gets bad.
How are we feeling about League of Legends team? I'm just feeling the room right now. How are we feeling about League of
How
Legends?
long have we been playing it now?
All right, we're feeling like that. Okay, moving on. How are we feeling about Anno 1800?
I'll take the bullet. Okay,
Yeah?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look at the list more. Yeah, okay. We actually talked about this one on the podcast as well.
Did. So like after talking about it, I played it I think for another like 2 weeks or so, and then I kind of stopped playing it because there was like, just a whole bunch of other live stuff came up, and a whole bunch of other like games came out. I still think this game is remarkable. It's one of my favorite like new kind of games I dove into this year, and I think everything about it's really really cool, really really fun. Especially if you are a strategy game person, I highly recommend that. If you like city building, you like strategy games, pick this game up. You're not going to be disappointed at all. It's 100% worth it. If you're that person that's in that niche category like I am, it's a no-brainer buy to me.
But I think there's another niche here that is more fitting for you.
Probably, yes. Absolutely.
Bradley. Shit's getting rough.
Oh, was that yours?
Yes, that was mine.
Oh fuck. Here's what I'm thinking. Me and Willer had a ton of fun playing this, but Super Mario Maker 2? Anybody?
I it too, bitch.
No, hold
You played
on.
2?
Take Astral Chain.
Hold up.
I'm handing you Astral Chain.
Ooh.
If you will spare this game just a little longer.
Will Joe also let me take Astral Chain?
I'll let you take Astral Chain.
I'll take Astral Chain then.
All right,
But give it a eulogy.
I will. I talked about Astral Chain a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. It is a really fun game. It's super polished with a ton of content. Just a couple of like times where it was the least fun experience of my life. With like just some platforming challenges where I was just like, I don't think I've ever had less fun with a video game. But then also like when you're just in certain fights, it's amazing. It has a very unique battle system. There's a couple of pacing issues. I'd still give it like a 4 out of 5. It's not my favorite platinum game, but I feel pretty safe putting it at 21st. That's pretty good.
That's a good spot too.
For such a stack list.
Yeah.
Joe.
All right. I'm glad Astral Chain got picked because that's what I was gonna pick next.
Oh
Hey.
boy.
Oh damn.
All right. I'm gonna try again. Puyo Champions.
I'll let you have it this time. Let me just say, I'm gonna let you have it just because, like, kind of for the same reason with Ace Attorney. Like, I mean, it's like Puyo in general has been kind of it's a game we've had before.
Yeah.
I will say though, of the games that were on this list, it is like top 3 for me.
Yeah, like I feel like we got to give Bradley some leeway for a little bit because we just killed a very serious child.
Ooh.
Bradley
Yeah,
Bradley
like-
doesn't play many games for a long time, but this game.
Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of like Ace Attorney. Like, I mean, it's been around the block.
It will make our top 20 as the 20th, which I think is respectable.
Sounds good to me.
For probably the most niche game maybe in the whole entire list. Except maybe Minoria. But yeah.
Maybe.
Tyler. This list has gotten someone's going to cry at next pick. Like, that's where we're at.
I think I can get away with nobody crying. From what I watched and what I've heard, It did not go above and beyond expectations,
I'm gonna
yet it was still good. And I'm a stickler for art, and I'll say it had some terrible, terrible textures in this game.
Sorry, but that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
We're gonna say Fire Emblem.
Joe, you gotta help me out here.
Okay,
I would also vote for Fire Emblem.
I'm going to defend this.
2v2.
Simply because you're wrong.
I mean, this game is ugly as shit. You're super right, but my god, this game though.
This game, I think really hits the nail on the head of what Fire Emblem needs to be or tries to be, which is like anime simulator with a side of turn-based strategy game to it. I think it's probably the best Fire Emblem ever made.
It got me to care and finish a long ass campaign.
I'm
of
wrong
Fire
then.
Emblem.
I'm wrong then. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
It happens.
Let me
You're
try
feeling-
again. I don't know what.
I think now it's time for this one. Just it got a little bit further, but
I'll do Super Mario Maker 2.
yeah.
There's something about like I played a lot of the first one. I watched y'all play the second one. I watched a lot of gameplay of it. Watched people making them. All the can you beat this? And I was just like, you couldn't make your own worlds, right?
You could not.
And I think that's the main thing. Like I want to do is like let me make my own Mario Maker.
Now, what
game.
people
let
do-
me make my own game.
What people do is that they make a series of levels that is a game, but I see what you're saying.
I know, but it's fun, it's gimmicky, it's a good game, but I don't know. It's no Mario Party or anything, you know.
Was that this year, by the way, Mario Party?
Wait, was it?
No.
I don't think it was. I think we're hallucinating.
Tyler, on the Google Doc, your little icon looks like an elephant, but it says anonymous anteater.
I could see it.
I thought it was an elephant.
It was not this year.
Let me go. You know what? Let's take a top 18 break.
Okay.
All right, we're back from our top 18 break. New refreshments, all peed out. It's my pick.
Ooh. Oh, damn.
All right, Joe. What if I remove Jedi Fallen Order?
Just hypothetically. He left.
No, I'm here.
No, okay, no, no. Hold on. Okay. Borderlands 3.
Yes, I would. Borderlands 3.
Tyler, I think this is your game to defend. If
Honestly, this has probably been the best Borderlands in the actual series. It did a lot of things good, but I don't know. Borderlands just doesn't stand up in 2019 for some reason.
I think it's because of another game on the list.
Not even that. I think this Borderlands 3 is the best Borderlands, like Tyler said. It's just, it's like, imagine you're 6 years old and you have a cool uncle. And your uncle's really cool, and then he goes away for a while, and then you're 21, and your uncle comes back, and he's not as cool as you remember, but he's still kind of cool. You know?
Yeah.
He Borderlands 3 is probably the best mechanically Borderlands game, but everything else around it feels very aged.
I had this constant FPS drop the entire time I played it too, which
I hear had a rough release.
my God.
Were you on
Very
console or
annoying.
PC? 'Cause
I was
hear-
on PC,
That's
and it was
surprising.
awful.
That was
Yeah,
a
but-
birthday present from Tyler. It was a great
Oh,
birthday.
hey.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. I loved it. I enjoyed it very much.
Like,
Um,
it's not a bad game. it's just like whatever.
my favorite parts of the game were the side quests.
Yeah, you
And-
explained a really fun one to us, as I recall.
Like, there's this one side quest where like you go in to this janitor's closet, and he's got a secret entrance into this old abandoned research lab, and he's got these tapes that are he's talking to you, and he's like, he wants you to rescue his friend Earl or something. Oh no, there's this guy who's trapped in a closet, and he wants you to help him out so he can help his friend. And like, it's this mutant rat that's talking to you that you've been killing a lot of in the game, so it's really weird at this time. and then you go find this like mutant dog, like this alien dog, and there's a like serial killer's brain in the dog, and then the dog starts talking shit to you, and so you have to go like kill it in this dog fighting pit. It was really weird.
It's a good time.
Yeah, and then you rescue his friend by putting his friend's brain into another rat. It was a very wholesome story. The original friend had cancer, so he was able to rescue him by putting his brain in a rat bod.
Nice.
And they ran off into the sunset to go eat human flesh. It was great.
The 18th best game, great. Bradley, things are getting ugly.
As much as I enjoyed Teamfight Tactics, I'd be cool letting it go here.
Top 18, 17.
So
Keep this in mind. As much fun as we've been having, it is an ongoing game, which is a bit of a strike down from a Game of the Year list.
I'll give it a eulogy here. I don't mind.
Okay.
So the boys had dabbled in League over time because it's been out for 10 years now.
Yeah.
They celebrated their 10th year anniversary this year. I have been playing it for about 8.5 of those 10 years. Off and on. I think this is the longest stretch I'd ever gone without playing it until we started playing again this year after Teamfight Tactics came out.
Mm-hmm.
Teamfight Tactics was great. I didn't know Dota Underlords existed. Is that?
I'm not playing Teamfight Tactics.
Yeah.
But
The Auto Chess series, gonna be a fun, great addition, to the mobile phone games franchise once they all get ported over to that. But Bradley and Willer and Joe had never really played too much League.
That's not true for me, but in
You
fact,
played a lot of League?
I mean, I was already ranked by the time we started playing.
Well, you were level 30.
I had been 30 for a while. I played a lot in the beginning. In fact, I got us back in because I was just like, I'm having an itch.
It was a lot of fun.
I will say on the League side of it, I thought the season was like, it was at a good position to prime us to have a lot of fun.
So many people hated this season too.
Really?
Because
I mean, we're not great, so
the new runes, in addition with like the meta changes and how they were nerfing and buffing people so rapidly this year, people couldn't keep up with the meta, and that angered a lot of people. And I thought it was fun personally.
It was fun for us playing together, you know.
For people who don't play ranked a lot and don't really care too much about metas, the champions we want to play can exist in the game, you know, and we can have fun with them and play with them. Like, I can still play with Brand every game, even though he's not too meta of a pick. Like, it is a good season, and I'm still having a lot of fun. We all play together. We only hated each other for like 2 weeks playing it, and I think we got to a good point.
Yeah, I think we've been pretty good at not being salty at each other, and we run into assholes, but you know, we can wave it off. Sometimes it's even funny.
Bradley, do you want to talk about Lux?
Lux is perfect. I love her.
Well, what about Zoe?
No.
No?
No.
Lux is my one true love.
Oh, I thought Zoe was cool.
What about Nunu?
I mean, I hate Zoe, but
Nunu's the best, actually, though.
There you go. I can live with that.
All right.
There's a Donkey video where he keeps saying, actually, this champion is the best. It's a good time.
Oh, yeah, he used to be a League YouTuber, right?
Oh.
Yeah, he was the premier League of Legends YouTuber. There was a couple of other guys around at the time. I think there was one guy named Barney who got a lot of shit for being knockoff Donkey.
Bonnie.
But he had some good videos too. Like, both of them had really great League content. Both of them dipped out around the same time. Good time for both of them, I guess.
Cool. When they're both guests on the podcast, we can discuss it.
I'll ask him next time I run into him at PAX South.
Which is a thing that could happen.
I ran into Donkey this year for the first time at a PAX event. I would like to say I'm along the lines with Joe with being a really tempered headed, like, leveled person, I guess. I don't really get excited around too many things, but I squealed like a little girl and straight up fanboyed and tried to be as polite and awkward as possible, and he took some pictures with me. Him and Leah did, and it was great. And my 14-year-old self is very happy.
Good times. Your 25-year-old self is also happy. Six,
It's
maybe.
It's like meeting a Disney princess.
Which we also did this year. Joe, what gets canceled out next? Axed. This is rough. How about, or maybe...
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oof. It had to come.
Now listen here, you.
16 is pretty good.
This game was so fucking fun, but... Alright, I've used a lot of argument points lately.
Look at all the other games it's better
I
than.
have my eyes set on, and I know I'm never going to get off this list, and it's going to make me very upset.
What?
50% of the people here, but whatever. I'm going to take this one as mine and keep drinking.
Fine, you know what? For Bradley's sake, I'll let you have this as well. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I believe that's the correct title. It gets confusing because Castlevanias also have similar titles. This game,
I think there is. I think that's the second Castlevania, the one where you play as Dracula's son's Ritual of the Night.
So the second Castlevania is Simon's Curse, you fucker. The third one,
whichever Castlevania you play as Dracula's son, Alucard, I think that's Ritual of the Night.
No, that you're thinking of Symphony of the Night, where you do play as Alucard, but that's like the 6th or 7th or 8th. Anyways, this is a fantastic game. It maybe is my favorite Castlevania, full stop. I love the combat. I love the weird enemy designs. The map is huge. You get these insane traversal abilities like flipping the world upside down, turning into a laser and bouncing off of walls. It's so fun. You get so many attacks. Miriam is cool. She can JoJo pose. You can put on the stone mask. It's a good time. I'm sad to see it go without getting into the top 15, but that's just kind of how it goes in the mind meld.
Wait. Keep going. Hold on.
We're done. It's Tyler's turn.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
good. We good.
You know,
Oh, this is where things get bad.
This is where things get kind of bad.
I'm really
I think-
scared.
I think I have 4.5 games left on this list. No,
Mm,
5.5 games.
That's 1/3 of the games. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
It saddens me.
I don't know, man.
Stop, guys. Stop it. You're gonna
we're typing on the Google sheet. We're having a war.
use your words.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
No, not yet. Hold on.
Ooh,
No,
my dick.
no. Jedi Fallen Order.
Ooh,
No.
I'm going with Tyler with Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Next time you think about canceling Kingdom Hearts 3, you need to remember Zettaflare, okay? Next time you think about axing Kingdom Hearts 3, you need to think about Donald and Goofy screaming through your controller to save your life.
The controller moment.
Next
is what's saving
time
it for
you
me.
think about Kingdom Hearts 3, you need to think of Aqua smiling when she finally escapes the realm of darkness.
Wait. Compromise. Wargroove for number 15.
Fuck!
Nope.
This is the game of our friendship this year. Do you know how many memories we have together?
No.
All right.
I refuse Kingdom Hearts 3.
No. Smash Ultimate.
What? You are high on cocaine.
Me. Do you understand what I'm saying right now?
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. I stand by it.
Tyler,
Fuck
thanks for
you,
these
Tyler.
Lux pictures.
Oh, weird. You guys, come on. 3 of us play this game.
I mean, I will take. Man, I'll take Wargroove and Smash Ultimate over Kingdom Hearts 3. Like,
War Groove then?
no, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 should go below them on the list.
Oh. You're gonna make me lose.
Fire Emblem, if we really want to save Willow.
So I went to PAX Dev this year, and this is relative to Kingdom Hearts 3. and I went to this roundtable talk, and it devolved into like 30 people just shitting on Kingdom Hearts 3.
This
And
is a very. First of all, everyone's dumb except for us. Okay.
First of all, it
and our
upset me because I
subscribers.
wanted an actual constructive talk, which only like 4 people attempted to do.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I stand by it. Kingdom Hearts 3.
I mean, top 15 on this list is still a really fucking good game.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many other good games on this list. Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of those games that like
All right.
it wasn't gonna win. Period.
Just let me do my fucking eulogy.
Yeah.
Let me explain. You guys are gonna regret doing this after I'm done. So help me God.
Massacre all of us, by the way.
Yeah. You've hurt me dearly. I didn't want it to get too high, but you wouldn't even let me get it a little bit higher. You're disgusting.
You wouldn't even let me get at the top 2.
No, not even. It's just okay. So here's the thing about Kingdom Hearts 3. First of all, none of y'all play the critical mode, which fixes any single gameplay problem that game could have. Beyond the gameplay, it's such a beautiful looking game with these really cool explorable worlds where you get Woody shit-talking Xehanort and telling him no one loves him in this realm of darkness. You get amazing boss fights like the triple Xehanort fight, the Master Xehanort fight, just fighting all the org members. That's your childhood being finalized right there. You just killed your childhood right now. Sora, like at the end, it really hits you hard with what happens to him. The game got some genuine emotions, as dumb as the plot is. It's got a lot of heart. Donald and Goofy are my boys, and you just killed my boys.
I will say this game did make me tear up pretty hard at the end.
I guess I'm the antagonist in this story.
Yeah.
I never owned Sony consoles growing up.
Now you do.
I own my first Sony console, which we could talk about maybe later.
We'll talk about in a little bit.
Okay.
All right. I don't care anymore, all right? Because Destiny 2, it's out.
Oh God, you
It's-
did it so quick.
It's out.
Like I said, we're going to kill
An eye for an eye.
No, I have a good reason for this. Destiny 2 is an ongoing game, so it couldn't get too high.
True.
But it feels really good to shoot, and it's free this year, so I might still play more of it. But Tyler, give us a proper Destiny 2 eulogy.
I think Destiny actually did win best ongoing game of 2018 or 2019.
Really?
I can't.
Did it come out 2017? Is that right?
Destiny 2 came out 2017. Yeah, I think so.
It's on the list because of the free update. I think it warrants getting a check in 2019.
But it was really significant that it did because it League of Legends still exists, Fortnite exists. What's the other one that came before Fortnite that sued them for it? PUBG still exists, Apex was out. A lot of great games still exist, and Destiny 2 is just rocking it. It won in oh no, I did. Hold on, I'm looking for it. Hold on. I just want to fact check. Yeah. Game Critics Award 2019 Best Ongoing Game. So, what was it that came out this year? It wasn't Forsaken, which Forsaken was great. Shadowkeep.
Thank you.
Shadowkeep really, Destiny 2 has its kind of
One word.
gameplay down really well, and advancement systems in the game. This one really, this entire year, all they get to do is focus on story and world building.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic. They're adding a lot of MMORPG elements into it now, with these artifacts and artifact systems, and these grinding events where you do these horde modes, and they're a lot of fun, and they give really great rewards every time. There's consistent ways to get rerolled weapons to try and get the perfect roll that you want for your play style. It's very consistent. The game has too much content in it. For the free version, everybody was asking me, hey, should I buy this? Should I buy that? And I'm like, no, you shouldn't buy anything. because as I'm playing with my friends, like I think we played it for me and Joe play it often, every now and then. I've been playing since 2014, since Destiny 1, and I'm telling everybody, no, you will not get through the free content. Like, I think it came out free to play October 10th, and I was like, you will not get through the free content by the end of the year. Unless you just sit down and absolutely fall in love with this game, you will not get through the free content. You do have no reason to buy it.
That's how much content there is.
Yeah. It is. I think it also won bet. I think it also has. It's the top most free to play game of 2019 as well.
That'd be surprising. Above, I mean, Fortnite's still free to play.
I mean, Fortnite's a subscription.
Fortnite's a subscription?
Yeah, you pay $10 every time there's a battle pass. Like,
I mean, you don't have to get a you don't have to get a battle pass.
I will say there probably the minority does not get the battle pass. I would like stats on that. Those will never be released. My stance is if you're playing Fortnite without the battle pass, you're not having as much fun.
I agree.
If I'm playing Fortnite, I'm not having much fun.
Oh, there's one game out here that we should have put on, but we didn't because I totally forgot it came out this year. But don't worry about it.
What game?
It's Magic Arena. It's Magic the Gathering's online.
Magic Arena is the 38th best game of the year.
Sounds good to me. I'm the only one that plays it, so I'm the only one that matters to me.
We have like 4 or 5 people that play it in our group.
Yeah, 49. Sorry, I interrupted. But to speak on Destiny 2 a little bit more, I would play Destiny 2 more if I didn't have other games that take my time, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
The fact that I would consider playing it as a shooter is a big deal, because that's not my genre.
Go ahead.
I like, because the last time I had like really fun playing a shooter game that I can like vividly remember like getting really balls deep into it was Halo Reach. And then and this feels like the evolution of Reach, especially now since like Reach is out from the Master Chief Collection on PC. But yeah, Destiny 2 is a great gun game. If you like first person shooter games, like I think it blows every other gun game's like classic FPS shooter gun controls out of the water. I think it's better than Call of Duty. It's better than the modern Halo games. Yeah.
I was really disappointed that we did not get to the raid section, because I think that's would have been what hooked Willer.
Well, we might talk about this game in 2020.
We'll see what happens.
It is Bradley's turn after that.
Grabbing another Smirnoff.
Oh, wait.
Boy.
Cool side note. Destiny season advanced today with one of the best storylines, hopefully of all time, involving the Titan Saint 14. Shout out to anybody who likes Destiny. I love Saint 14.
Shout outs.
All right, boys. I'm torn between two for this next one. So I'm going to try and throw out the one that I have not actually played.
Okay.
Fire Emblem.
I'm okay with Fire Emblem landing at 13, but that's up to Willer.
I think it's quality enough. Like, I'm just gonna say personally, I think it could have gone higher, but this list is getting heated. I'm gonna have to agree, unfortunately.
Yeah.
This is a really good game.
My other choice was going to be Wargroove, but I've actually played it, so I was like...
It's a really good Fire Emblem game. It's one of the few games in a long time where I felt really invested in the characters in the story, in the game. Like, that just doesn't happen a lot. I think the turn-based mode is just... It's all right. It does what it needs to do. It's still fun. That's kind of where it hurts me on that, but I still think the game is really good and everything that it tries to do, and its flavor, its theming, and everything else. Like, I had a great time.
There's I've been watching a Let's Play of it, and the game does a really cool way of representing characters' like trauma and what ails them in life through gameplay. Mm-hmm. Where, for example, there's this character Sylvain. He's a big womanizer, and he tries to flirt with everyone. But he can't get past a B rank with any female character in the game except maybe Ingrid. Which is interesting because it just kind of... It reflects his character in the story. of kind of just dating around and not ever forming real connections with girls.
And
which-
how he feels he doesn't actually trust them because he feels like he's being used all the time by them.
And then there's a plot line with a character called Dimitri, where he has like fits of rage and just like clumsy strength, and his passive skill is to sometimes do extra damage, which is like reflecting that. And that's like there's so much of that throughout the game. They put a lot of thought into the character storylines.
Yeah.
I think with the time skip, it kind of hurts the storylines a little bit because some of them like will continue at the exact same emotional spot 5 years later. So that's it's kind of a drawback to it. But otherwise, I love this game. It was really good.
Yeah, I agree. The one thing, like we discussed it like last podcast about endings, I think the ending to this game when it goes through everything, like you have an epilogue essentially that tells you what happens to all of your students. I think catapulted from like a B+ game to like an A- game to me, because it's kind of like that feeling of like, oh, all these choices matter in the end for these people, because you have that like following action, you see what happens at the end. Like I have every single one of those pages like photographed in my Switch.
Yeah, me too. Because I just ended up caring.
Yeah,
Good
Which
characters.
it's really hard for me to like care for a virtual like person. So yeah.
For me, it's like I care for a lot of virtual and fictional people, but when they're very anime, which is kind of Fire Emblem's wheelhouse, I don't really see them as human.
Mhm.
Like they just become tropes. I feel like Fire Emblem, as anime as it is, managed to not make everyone tropes, which I really liked. Tyler, or no, sorry, Joe, you would be next.
Wargroove.
Yeah,
I mean,
all right.
I guess it has to go.
Over Total War?
No, just Wargroove.
Don't worry about Total War.
Yeah.
Joe's kind of running away with some of this shit now that I look at this list.
You know what?
You know what? No, hold on, Joe.
Hold on.
Do you really think Jedi Fallen Order is a top 10 game of the year?
I think Jedi Fallen Order is better than Wargroove.
I could sleep at night saying Wargroove is a top 10 game. Jedi Fallen Order just feels soulless, but okay.
I mean,
don't-
I'll
I don't
live
think
with
so
Wargroove at
after
this
playing
point.
it. I think so. The thing about Wargroove is it's really solid. It's really good for an indie title. As like a strategy game, it kind of hits a ceiling, I feel like, and it hits the thing. It does the thing that I don't like in strategy games, which is base building and managing unit production and unit on field management at the same time. It does it really well. I just don't like those two things mixing together.
It's no
personal reasons.
Halo Wars.
What?
It's no Halo Wars.
Oh, get out of here.
I don't like Halo Wars either, but that being said, I think Wargroove is a great game as an indie game. I think like if you have a Switch or whatever, you should just buy it, play it, and then get going. I think it's great. I think the other thing I have with it is that I really wish each faction felt more unique.
Yeah.
Tree skins and everything. I wish there was some sort of like damage number differences, or each faction's like archer or like base unit had a different mechanic to it. I wish there was just a little bit more variety.
I feel like at least there's a lot of units to combat that. I feel like this is a really good strategy game. Even though, yeah, maybe there's a ceiling, but I feel like they patch it. I'm really looking. I haven't played this game in a while, but I did put in like 60 to 65 hours.
Yeah.
Y'all, the thing about Wargroove, this is some of the most impressive map creation tools I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can code in like encounters using their tools. It's so cool.
It's gonna get even better. Bradley made a sick Link to the Past map.
Yeah, and like they patched it and added even more like stuff you can control.
So you guys might know, but the 2.0 update is coming soon, and that's gonna have lobbies.
Ooh.
That'll actually get me back in, because I'm feeling the groove again. But
The asynchronous multiplayer is so good.
Oh yeah, asynchronous multiplayer made the Wargroove like 100%.
so a little story, if you want to learn a little bit about us. Once upon a time, the four of us worked in the same game development company, and we would play so much Wargroove because we all work remotely. So whenever like there was a lull at work, it's like, all right, let me do some turns real quick.
Mhm.
Don't tell nobody. But it was
Most of our meetings went like that.
Oh, during meetings where like the
Dude.
meetings were way too long and we didn't always have things to say. So a lot of Wargroove turns.
Things to listen to.
Yeah.
That's the deal. It'd be like, oh, Bradley, there's an art meeting. We need you to be there. And
Just to console.
like nothing would be relevant to me. So I'd just be like, okay, I'll just, I don't know. I'll have it
I
open.
rant about our meetings at that company, but I don't want to at the moment.
I mean, some of them were 4 to 5 hours long. They were just sprint reviews, but anyways,
Don't listen to Joe who tries to fix things. No, anyways.
I think Wargroove is an emblematic game of our friendship. As like sugary sweet as that sentence is, we've put in a lot of time together in this game, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Rest
The
in
thing about
peace.
I want to talk a little bit more about this.
Do it.
Fucking Wargroove was published by Chucklefish, which the vast majority of games Chucklefish publishes are like spiritual successors to older games, but they end up doing the older game better. Like Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Look, I played stupid amounts of pretty much every Harvest Moon game when I was little. Stardew Valley is better Harvest Moon.
Yeah,
And
I had
also
the exact same
played-
sentiment.
I also played stupid amounts of Advance Wars, and I was so excited for Wargroove for like 2 years. It came out. It's better Advance Wars.
It's fantastic. Which is why it's our 12th best game of
Yeah.
the year. I think, you know what? That's fair.
I think it's fair.
Tyler. Joe. So, Tyler just slyly highlighted Jedi Fallen Order and didn't say anything.
Sorry. I am near the bottom of my cup, and I don't drink as often.
Yeah,
anymore.
it's getting to the point where I only have like 3 more games I haven't seen in.
But Jedi Fallen Order, from what I talked about with Joe, it's Respawn's first exclusively single player game.
Yeah.
I'm a big Respawn fan. I watched gameplay of it, saw a lot of memes of it, and nobody said anything really bad about it at all. It was one of those things that did really well and just went under the radar. No controversy, no drama.
It
No.
went off without any kind of like there was no strings attached to it in terms of its release. There was no like people throwing balls at it when it came out.
Yeah, like I haven't seen anyone say bad stuff about it. But at the same time, I haven't seen a lot of people who are like, "This is the best fucking game that's ever been made."
But I mean, like, Control was IGN's game of the year, and I was like, I had never heard of this game before, and I think that like
I
we
talked
live
about
in
it a
an
little bit.
age
We live in a society.
where
I'm gonna talk about Jedi Fallen Order just a little bit because
Yeah. Give it that eulogy.
I think the game belongs perfectly at this spot because there's a game that's just like it and it's 200% better in every way about it.
Oh shit! Oh yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think this does it's a really good Star Wars game. It's not the Star Wars game that I've been waiting for years, but it's a really good Star Wars game. I think it does Star Wars lore justice. I think it does like everything about it. Like it feels like a good Star Wars story and what Star Wars stories should strive to be, even though the first like actual level is just fucking hot garbage. But let's not talk about that.
Well, we did quite a bit last week.
Yeah. But the game is fun. It's a really good accomplishment. I got to the end of the game and was like, I will play another one of these easily in a heartbeat. Like I had a good enough time. It made me feel like the ending made me feel like a kid again playing a video game, which is something I haven't felt. Well, it has something I've been felt, but that's I haven't felt that in a Star Wars game in a long time. You know, so
I'm more proud of this game for being an EA game with no bullshit. I think that's admirable.
yeah, I will buy DLC for this game when it comes out. Like I just will if it's actual content, not just like reskin stuff.
We have reached the top 10.
Oh fuck!
Oh damn.
You know what this means? It's time for the top 10 bathroom break. Boo, boo, boo.
Actually, yes.
We have reached the top 10. Our bladders are once again empty. We are a couple drinks in.
I'm gonna be real honest with y'all. I still haven't peed.
Oh, well, you're a
Oh,
tough guy.
I haven't either.
Let me
I'm still
read
here.
off the top 10 contenders before we get into
These
the
are
bloodbath.
guaranteed
God.
top 10 games of the year. All these games you should buy, you should play if you have any interest in playing them.
With
Go.
some caveats. Okay, yeah, there you go. Death Stranding, Pokemon Sword and Switch, Outer Worlds, Sekiro, Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Total War 3 Kingdoms, Katana Zero, Monster Hunter Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and Smash Ultimate. Here's the thing. It's my pick. Some games I am alarmed got this high when so many sacrifices had to be made.
I am happy with this so far.
Alright, here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
I want to level with y'all, right?
Oh god.
The Monster Hunter World Iceborne and Smash Ultimate are maybe two of the best games on this list. But they are both ongoing games and expansion based, where Smash Ultimate got all its DLC this year, and World is a you know, it's a whatever.
Too hasty, Willer.
But I
Are
feel
you trying to say Smash Ultimate isn't the best game of 2018 and 2019?
I'm saying it is, but that's also unfair.
That's not about fairness. It's about what you feel in your heart.
This is a top this is a top games of 2019 year of list. Oh boy. And I feel like we should give credence to games that actually came out in this year. As much as do you know how much I've lost already and I'm saying this? I'm right now I'm talking about getting rid of Smash Ultimate and Monster Hunter World. Do you know that's a big deal?
How about this?
No, I'm making a deal.
No, listen, here's my deal, because I know it's to be true. Get rid of 3 Kingdoms.
Yes. But then World and Ultimate go next.
No.
Oh. What's this? And then I also have a bone to pick with like another game on this list.
Is
But-
it one of these two?
No, those are Willer's only childs left.
I can't believe you don't know me at all. Anyways. Really, Joe? I mean, how far are you planning to take these?
I think these are games that nobody else played.
Oh, you know what? You should get rid of Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds is number 10.
Oh, okay, I mean, yes, but I'm still saying we should get rid of the 2 ongoing games soon
Okay.
as well.
Willer, I need you to think about this for a second. And think about actually good games.
Yeah,
Those games are actually good.
but there are some actually good games that came out this year and should probably be topped in the Game of the
Well,
Year list of 2019.
Our fault that games are good even though they existed before. It's not our fault.
This
Anyways, Outer Worlds is exactly what every Fallout fan ever wanted after Fallout New Vegas. If you love Fallout New Vegas, go play Outer Worlds. We already talked about it earlier on another podcast. It's everything I ever wanted in Fallout New Vegas, even though I didn't realize it at the time. But yeah, it's a great game. You should go play it.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, Bradley, what you got cooking?
All right, boys.
Kill Joe.
No, I'm bringing down the guillotine on a game that I don't know. I just don't really feel like finishing it. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. But you guys, Total War's 3 Kingdoms still here. All right, whatever. Outer World gets to be 9.
Outer Worlds so bad took up 2 spots.
There we go. Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Uh,
I think
I would
could
give
do-
eulogies about this.
I really like this game. I'm surprised that I do.
I need to get to endgame, and I will play it with Willer. But I think what lured me actually liking this game was so much is hating so much of the recent Pokemon games. Like I hated Ultra Beasts.
fucking
hate Ultra Beasts.
I hated
come
Mega
on.
Evolutions. I hated Z moves. I don't mind G-Max. Like, it's probably the least harmful of all of them.
I think people were so hard on Dynamax and Gmax.
I wasn't excited for them, but they're very not
The
too
fact
harmful.
anyone can do it. I've been playing Battle Tower a lot to get ready for online, which I'm almost ready. And the fact that you get to control which Pokemon and when you Gmax or Dynamax it adds a layer that's actually pretty fun.
It was marketed that only some Pokemon could do it,
Only some Pokemon can Gmax. We've done this before.
but
and
every Pokemon can Dynamax,
Yeah.
and that was very confusing.
Okay, yeah, maybe they were a little confusing with the naming and the marketing there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at first.
Um,
My deal with Pokemon Sword and Shield is the game itself. I'm like, okay, it's a Pokemon game, but so like the gameplay, I'm like on it. The Pokemon themselves in this generation, these are the coolest fucking Pokemon. Like these are the coolest ones. I love all of them.
I think this is where me and Bradley are very different. Where
I love these ones.
But Phalanx, man.
I love these Pokemon too. This is a great gen. But the fact that it's just Pokemon is a big plus for me. I can never get tired of the base formula. They just have to spice it up in different ways. Which the gym challenge I thought was really cool. They do some really cool things with the 7th gym and the 8th gym. The Elite Four and the final batch of fights is really interesting. The plot was very simple, which meant I liked it. It was a nice balance of being in your face and not being too complex, but having some cool moments.
did we have a post-purchase Pokemon talk?
We have not. Yeah, we haven't talked about late game or anything like that.
Mhm.
I've been playing a lot of this game. I play a little bit every night because I send my Pokemon on their Poke jobs so that they can EV train while I'm at work. And then I pick them back up when I'm home, and I'm doing all these raids. And this is the easiest game to get perfect IV and EV Pokemon, and I'm just having a blast, man. Even with the post game, and I did a Nuzlocke run for the game, and I had a very fun time with that. So many deaths, it was glorious.
I will say this, unfortunately, has probably been the easiest Pokemon game.
I could see, yeah, because you don't get a choice.
I didn't do Nuzlocke, which, taking it back to that would be fun. But I did have I have a third team now, even. I have 3 different Pokemon teams that I shuffle out so they're not over leveled for each battle.
I feel like the Dex cut ended up kind of for the post game, it's actually kind of better because with less Pokemon, it feels like Gen 3 and 4 again, where there's a defined meta because it's more limited, which is a really weird thing to say. Which kind of got me into the post game and the online battling. There's actually a ranked system now. Just all these little things. Pokemon in the Wild is a great thing to take from Let's Go. And yeah, that surprisingly, with all the negativity going into this game and me being like, oh, it'll be just okay, it might end up as one of my favorites just because it's so... You just pick up and it plays and it feels good, and it's ugly here and there, but so's Fire Emblem, and that's a great game.
In retrospect, thinking about it, it's like everybody lost Pokemon that they loved.
Yeah, a lot of my favorites aren't here,
But Charizard still exists for some reason.
and that's why this game is only 9th best game, because Charizard still exists.
And Blastoise had to die for this.
He'll be resurrected. Joe, which of these babies are you killing?
I know what game I want to take off, but y'all won't.
But it
let me
ain't gonna happen.
because
Well, hold on. Let's
No.
talk. No, Bradley, you don't know Hurt. You don't know Hurt.
here's the thing.
I only
Bradley
have
saw his
stake in
babies
one of
lost
these
at the very
games.
beginning.
Only one of these games I really care about that much.
I know.
Fine.
So the problem with this game that I want to cut is that the 2 of you play it and you both love it, and I haven't played it. so I can't give an accurate opinion on like the cut it or not. It's just
Yeah, I get it.
everything else. I've played all the other games on this list except for that game.
I would be willing to let go of that game in top 10, but I think we could keep it a little bit longer.
I think
What
so.
would be your second pick?
So, but here, oh god, I'm gonna do Smash Ultimate.
Okay.
I'll live with that.
Okay.
Smash Ultimate, is a great game.
I'm okay with it.
I think it's fantastic. It's still Smash. It's still fun, but like, I think in terms of all the other games here, I think the other games have done a really good. All these other games, I feel like, have really pushed what their games are supposed to be. You know,
Yeah.
these remaining 7 games.
You know what? That's a good way to put that, actually.
Yeah, Smash is still Smash. And Smash is
Well, that's kind of reductive because this is a lot of Smash. Like, they
Yeah, it's a
fucking
lot.
went in.
It's done really good when it does, but I feel like everything else in this, all these top 7 games have really taken the formulas that they've had and expanded on them.
So, Smash is probably the game, aside from, I guess, Monster Hunter recently, that's the game I play most, period.
Yeah,
And, it would be higher, but again, it didn't come out this year. It came out late last year, so
and to be honest, next year when we do this again, Smash will probably end up in the top 10 again.
it's a good ongoing game. And like this character pass number 2 is gonna have a lot of wild picks.
I haven't played Smash in like months, and I still know like it's Smash.
You know you'll come back. You just got
Yeah, it's better than anything else that's below it by like
big margin.
I feel.
Actually, yeah, there's a big power gap from like 8 to the rest of this list, except even including Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Tyler.
I am the Grim Reaper.
Ooh.
Oh, I have played one game on this list of Final 7.
Yeah, I've only played one of these games on this list of 7.
I think we should get rid of Sekiro game.
Oh, Sekiro's so good.
I had a lot of fun watching you guys play Sekiro.
I'm really.
No. Absolutely not.
Okay, I'll go with Total War.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I
Joe,
think that's because the Total War 2 remaster also came out this year.
Joe, do you like Total War more than Sekiro or less?
Willer can get rid of it next.
Yeah, I can. All right, whatever. Total War.
I don't think this deserves to be here, but that's just me.
Okay,
You are insane.
So, Total War 3 Kingdoms is probably the best historical Total War game that's ever been made. And they really pushed the envelope. They made a great job of, I think, satisfying the fans that love that historical accuracy, but also the fans that really love the strong units of like Warhammer, which is me. The diplomacy is the best it's ever been. I feel like every like diplomatic like decision matters. The units are unique and diverse enough so you know what everything does. They do a great UX UI system of telling you of like what each unit counters based off an ancient Chinese system. But I think it's the best Total War historical game we've ever gotten so far. If they continue to use this as a baseline for their other historical games, they're just going to be fucking great. And I can't them
it's worth saying. It's worth saying that this is the only game left that only one of us has played. So if it wasn't a mind meld, this could be even higher.
Yeah, like, it's like if you like any strategy games at all, Total War 3 Kingdoms is the game to get.
Yeah, and like even if you're not into that genre, like I'd recommend still go look up some gameplay because like Joe has shown us gameplay and like every like individual unit is like his own guy and you can like watch him fighting. It looks really cool.
It's great. Like if I say so, Total War 3 Kingdom is the perfect jumping in point, I think, for a Total War game franchise because it does, like I said before, has a good system of like showing you what counters each thing. It gives you like I just think it does a really good job in like presenting the
It's
game.
the kind of game where if Joe put a gun to my head and be like, "You have to play a 4X game," this is the one I'd pick.
Probably. Like I couldn't recommend Warhammer 2 as a jumping in point because that one focuses so much on just the battles, whereas Three Kingdoms has a good enough diversity through its other layers that you get a great deal of like what a total war game should be in the future. And that's what this game is, which is why I really like this game. So yeah, I really highly recommend this game as a strategy game enthusiast person, dude.
Joe,
Yes.
I'm thinking between Sekiro and Monster Hunter Iceborne.
Okay, here's the thing. It's Sekiro you get rid of because
Okay.
Monster Hunter Iceborne should be in the top 5.
Yeah, that's easy enough.
People
Again,
are gonna hate the way we're doing this.
are they?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
I
not
mean,
an
why
actual
would they?
tournament.
This is like the.
Y'all, this is how they do it at game journalism sites, so you shouldn't complain.
I think this
Probably.
is fair because this is how, like, when it comes down to all of our opinions, we're gonna have to stab each other in the back here and there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm gonna do a eulogy for Sekiro because I think I'm the only other person that played it.
Hey.
Sekiro's a great fucking Dark Souls game. I think it's tightly unique, and the only reason why Jedi Fallen Order isn't higher is because literally the better version of it exists, and it's Sekiro, like head and shoulders twice above it. It's tight, it's fun, its lore is cool, its setting is cool, the enemies are cool. It's a great, cool game.
I have other words to say about Sekiro.
What is that?
As you will recall, in our very first podcast, Sekiro was one of the topics we talked about.
Was it in the first
In the
podcast?
very first podcast we ever did. And it's also the first argument we ever had on the podcast, where I talked about the game being repetitive in its combat, and I feel like that opinion has only soured over time. It's got some amazing moments, like fighting Owl and fighting Ishin and fighting Guardian Ape, Madame Butterfly and Genichiro, like really cool bosses. But just on like a base standard, I feel like this is my least favorite Souls game. Maybe, like, I'm not a big fan of Dark Souls 1 either, but like there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there as well. I felt like the areas in this game and the enemies in this game weren't weird enough until like the very last area where they had the slimy goop boys. There's a couple ghosts here and there, but they're so rare. It feels like I like how this game plays more than Nioh, but Nioh went harder on the setting, and that always stuck with me with Sekiro. But at the same time, it's very unique. Its gameplay is kind of revolutionary as far as Souls games go with the parry system it does. If it had like another couple of weapon trees that you could go down, aside from just sword, so that way you can kind of mix it up a little bit, I think it would have benefited the game a lot because I feel like that base combat's really good.
And on the flip side, I just love that there was just a sword I had to worry about training because it makes
Fair enough.
it assumes you have that sword, which means they can design every enemy around you having that sword. It's kind of like how in Castlevania Simon has the whip.
Yeah.
So design with you having the whip.
Mm-hmm.
It's that same kind of mode of thinking. So I think it makes some very creative enemies and makes you really think about, here's my only weapon, how do I use it to kill this thing?
If they make Sekiro 2 and they want to keep it with just a sword, I feel like they should make the tools be refillable. I think that would be the big fix there.
They need to expand more on the tools and make them something a little bit more dynamic in your fights, because I very rarely use the tools.
I have to kill a cockroach, I see. Bradley, let's take a quick pause because we're in the top 5. Let me go.
Indeed.
Good job, Joe. We're at the top 5 with Death Stranding, Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Katana Zero, and Monster Hunter World: Iceborne. And it is Bradley's pick.
All right. I guess we each have one more kill.
Correct.
So I know my favorite game is gonna die after my turn. So I'm gonna drop my bomb. I'm gonna say the remake of Resident Evil 2.
Yes, that's correct.
Sounds good.
You could talk about it.
Good remake though.
Oh my god. This
No.
remake is what every fucking remake should be. Like, holy shit.
Good remake is putting it lightly. This game is such a polished piece of shit, but like a good one. Like, it's fantastic, dude.
It like I bought it on a whim, I think, because I had some extra money when we were working that last job. And I was like, I'll play it. Fuck, it's so good.
This game's so good. So, like, picture like a horror Metroidvania where you have to slowly unlock parts of the house with different little tools that you get, and it opens up more and more of this police station that you come to know intimately. And you're kind of conserving ammo because it's a survival horror game. And then this motherfucker called Mr. X shows up. X gonna give it to you. And I was paralyzed in fear at some points where I'm hiding behind a door and I just don't know what to do with my life.
I've heard he's like the scariest motherfucker ever.
He really got to me, man.
Yeah.
Because I was like, with any other enemy, it's like, alright, I'll burn the ammo on him. With Mr. X, you have to burn so much ammo to just stun him, because you're not even killing him, that it's terrifying. You don't really don't want to make that risk in a game like Resident Evil. It was just really good. They expanded on some areas from the original. They kind of did things a little bit different, but it's a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those games where I was thinking about, because I know it was going to show up on our list, where I was just like, should Resident Evil 2 remake should be on the list, because it is a remake game. And I was thinking about, like,
Of course.
It takes the game, and it once again it pushes it to what it, like, based off its, like, it pushes it past its limitations from its previous generation,
to the point where, like, there's a system in this game. It was a tank control, like, fixed camera angle game, and now it's a over the shoulder game. So it's you kind of losing that sense of control that was also scary in the older days. But what they do to compensate for that is your aim is only really good if you stand still and you focus. Yeah. And I feel like just little design decisions like that make the game still feel tense.
Mm-hmm.
Good shit. Joe?
Alright, no, just throw it on the fucking list. We know what's gonna happen.
I'm gonna choose Katana Zero.
No.
I mean, I will be as obnoxious as possible. I think it's number one. But if it has to go, it has to go.
The reason I say Katana Zero is because I played the other 3 games on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
And it's essentially just like, I haven't played this game before. I know y'all have told me it's really good, but I just haven't played it before.
Yeah, that's fair. That is 100. That's totally fair.
And I think, like, y'all have given me enough leeway, and, like, for a lot of things. But, like, from what y'all hear about Katana Zero, it's a great game. It's just one of those games I haven't had time to pick up and play because I've had all my other personal games to play.
We talked about Katana Zero on the podcast. Me and Bradley played. I finished it, and Bradley lives in the same apartment complex as me, and I was like, Bradley, here's what I'm thinking.
Dude, freaking Willer's like, Bradley, I'm coming over. Because, like, we were going to go to a Smash Bros. Tournament, which we lost pretty badly in. But he brought it over. He's like, Bradley, I really think you should play this game. And, at first, I was kind of excited. But I was like, I'll play this game for my buddy Willer. Like, 10 minutes in, I was like, oh, my fuck. He was not kidding. Like, this is a good fucking game. Look, I got some fucking shit to say about this game.
Let's do it.
So... Let's say I divide the trade of game development into 4 categories, all right? There's like... Fuck. Sorry. I've had a few.
Look, we gotta do One Piece.
I'm going to divide our fucking trade into 4 categories, all right? There's programming, there's art, there's sound, and there's design. And for me, like... There's a game that I'm like, oh, that's the number 1 sound game. I think that has the best sound in video games. There's one that I'm like, oh, that has my favorite art. There's a game I've played that, like, holy shit, like, I'm really impressed they were able to even code this game. For Katana Zero, I've never been more impressed with the game design of a game. Holy fuck. Like, this dialogue system, never seen anything like it.
It's so good.
What's even cooler to me is, like, a big reason I like a lot of games I like Dark Souls, is that they will take game mechanics and bring them beyond game mechanics and work them into the lore. And like this game, there is nothing in this game that is not a part of the lore. Even the way you select your dialogue options, like, is part of the in context of the story.
Yeah.
And like fucking, like your character has a special ability in one thing that is always going to make a story like at least A tier for me, is if a character's power isn't just a cool power, if it's also an extension of their character. And like this power is just so fucking ripe for character development and the setting. And then like you go even further in the design category, these levels are laid out to make you to be really hard while at the same time making you feel like a badass.
What's cool is that, like, I would slow down to reflect everything. Bradley would just parry everything in normal time, and he was just a badass about it.
Like I was getting drunk and I was like, fuck it, I'm not even gonna use this anymore.
And he did pretty good with that. I think there's a category that I value in game that I feel like all three of y'all value less, which is story. And I feel like this game has a fantastic story that's told
It has the
really
my
fast. It's great pacing. It's told really well. It really hits you in the gut near the end. It could have easily been a meme game like The Messenger or just all these indie games where they're like, it would be embarrassing if we told a bad story, so let's just resort to memes. But no, this game had something to say, and it was profound, and it was really good, and it was represented in its mechanics.
It's like it's a really profound message. It is potentially different for each person, and like there was one moment, like there was this one twist that happened, and like Willer, you were there.
Is it Dragon?
I had to leave for a second.
Which one
And
was
then,
it?
like, it was fucking when I don't want to spoil anything.
All right, yeah, you're right.
But and like also as far as like like a lot of story heavy games can be pretty long, guys. The vast majority of my favorite games are like 6 hours or less. This is like a 5 or 6 hour game.
Yeah.
It's not that long, and you will have a lot of fun with it.
Do it. Joe bought it while we were having this discussion.
No way.
Yeah, it's
Damn,
downloaded.
Joe.
I realized that this is a game y'all really, really liked. And I was like, I should actually probably give this a try.
I'll say, I guess if you played all the other top
5.
9, 10, 9, 10,
I
11,
Joe's
12,
played. Goddamn, Joe's in there.
you played the top 14,
Oh,
13.
I don't play fucking video games.
He only didn't play Bloodstain.
And
like,
Puyo
that's-
Puyo Champions.
Yeah, you've played just about all these games.
I've played Phoenix Wright 100 times, so that counts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Tyler, reason with me here, buddy. Tyler.
Who's getting bronze?
All I know is that Willer wins regardless of what happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
Devil
not
May Cry
true.
5.
No, Tyler, hold on. Tyler, Monster.
Tyler, do it, Tyler.
No.
Willer, here's the thing. You're telling me Devil May Cry 5 is better than Death Stranding, a game that is completely its own thing, and it's better than Monster Hunter World, a game in which you lost your save file and have adamantly tried to recover now.
It's a game you bought me a PlayStation 4 to play with you for.
That's true. You guys, you do not understand how much I love Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah, but you don't see Destiny 2 up there.
That's because that's an ongoing game after you backstab me, you little fucker. So I had to kill it. I had to slit the throat. Come on. Here's the thing about Monster Hunter World Iceborne.
Willer, you win regardless. Shut up.
Wouldn't it be more fun if I have to kill both of my dearest babies live on camera?
You have to kill Monster Hunter World or Death Stranding, because I'm really interested.
I mean, shit, if Monster Hunter World's getting this far, then I guess I gotta count it as a real 2019 game. That's my thing about this.
Yeah.
I put more stock on the games that came out in 2019,
Iceborne came out in 2019. Iceborne has as much content as World does.
Are you freaking kidding me?
No.
No,
Like
yeah,
I
that's
just
real.
I just got to that, and you're telling me
No,
I have
dude,
to play the game all over again?
Dude, Iceborne is so fucking good. It's incredible.
Like Willer and I aren't memeing here. Like we're remember Willer when they announced Iceborne? You were like, they're going to add like 6 monsters to
No,
that.
dude, they added like fucking 20. It's so good. Oh my god, Tyler, what if I sacrificed Death Stranding?
Whoa. Whoa.
In my eyes, Death Stranding is still higher.
Alright, okay, let me do my eulogy.
You told me some good things about Devil May Cry 5. It's number 3.
Yeah. I bought Devil May Cry off of your recommendation. And I'm with you in that it's one of the best games that came out this year.
Devil May Cry 5.
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry. This game... So, when they were making this game, it was after the series was kind of dead, after DMC the reboot. And I was never a big Devil May Cry fan. In fact, I played them all except for 2 because you shouldn't play 2 in the lead up to 5. Those were good games, and I really like 3 and 4. Those are fantastic fucking games. Even I'm a person who's completely removed from nostalgia. If a game is good today, it's good, and if it's not good today, it's not that good. That's why Ocarina of Time is just okay. Shots fired. Anyways, Devil May Cry 5, though, was a game made to exceed expectations, and they 100% did that. That game is so deep and so complex with its combat system, and so stylish and beautiful, and it's such a good wrap-up to some of the character stories, and I struggle every day debating on whether this is my game of the year, because I will wake up some days and it will be, and I'll wake up some days and it won't be. It's a fantastic game. I talked about it a lot, how diverse the 3 characters are. We did a podcast talk on it. If for some reason it's one of our most popular podcast talks.
Yeah.
Go figure. I'm really sad to see it go, even though it's top 3. So
I'm really
like,
sad to see it go. Dies in the fucking semifinals.
all right.
I played Devil May Cry 5. I only played it once through. I don't know if Willard played it more.
I played
once
a
through.
shit ton, and I'm very sad I lost that save file as well, sir.
Oh damn! I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I only played it once, but it was enough of a lasting impact for me. I think I paid $40 for it. Like it was on sale,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, "This game's great." Like it feels. It's one of those games where like it feels like a thing of its old time, where like a game was only supposed to have this much content in it, like in terms of its level. Like it's just a short game.
Yeah.
It's not that long.
It's a short game. It expects you to replay it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like I played the whole game. I was just like, that game was short, but like I don't regret like paying. I would like paying $60 for it. I would have been fine paying $60 for it. Like
It's definitely worth the experience, even once.
yeah, it just I was like, this was like great kind of. It might be a game I come back to like, oh, I'm gonna play Devil May Cry just all the way through again. Just maybe on a hard difficulty or something.
I'm gonna have to. I unlocked the hardest difficulties, which was really hard to do.
Yeah, it's fun. I honestly think it's it's probably my favorite, like kind of those beat 'em up, or I guess beat 'em up games.
It's a character action game.
Character action games.
Yeah, because
it was a great time. It reminded me a lot of playing God of War, but a much better version of God of War. Not the newest one, but like of the old classics.
It's a game where if you're playing the easier difficulties, you don't have to think too much about it. On the harder difficulties, you see how much depth there is. The Virgil fight, mission 19 and 20, is out of this world, incredibly depth. Just oh my god, I want to go play it right now. Anyways, rest in peace. Devils do cry, and I'm the devil in this case.
Willard, technically, you get to pick first and second place.
I know. It just turned out that way, actually.
But here's the thing: I'm happy with regardless you pick. Like I think at this point, it's like all the pressure's on you.
Oof, all right. Tyler, what you got to say? So we have Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which me, Tyler, and Joe are actively playing right now.
I just got to play through Monster Hunter for the second time. I played on PC. Sadly, I'm getting about the same frame rate on PlayStation, but I'm having a lot of fun. I'm having as much fun as I did have on PC. I thoroughly enjoyed Monster Hunter on PC. I have played one other Monster Hunter game on the DS. I absolutely hated it.
That's
I
fair.
was not afraid to try Monster Hunter World on PC. I think I got it the week it came out. Because I do like big boss fights, and that's like all Monster Hunter is boss fight after boss fight and getting really cool swords and hammers and hammer flutes and armor, and you have a cat that you dress up in armor, and I'm like, honestly,
Not ever once in a game.
I don't know what's not to love. Girlfriend Game Reviews has a really great review of this game.
Mm-hmm.
I love that video. It's I'm really excited. I just got to Iceborne last night. I will probably start playing it as soon as we're done recording this.
Yeah, dude, Iceborne is when we're on the same playing field now. We're getting to the quest where me and Joe can die. We're gonna have a lot of fucking fun.
I have a screenshot of Willer getting one shot by this gorilla. It's great.
Oh, that gorilla. I think that's a good eulogy for Monster Hunter World Iceborne
Okay.
as the second best game of 2019.
Yeah. I can't believe it fucking did it again.
Dude, we just for fun had a discussion kind of like this last year, and I think World was second after Ultimate.
Probably.
So if Monster Hunter World 2 comes out next year, it would win. It would just straight up win.
But before we talk about Death Stranding some more, because I'm pretty sure we have an entire talk on it where Willer just rants for an hour about it.
Yeah, we do.
I would like to talk about some honorable mentions that
Honorable mentions?
like that none of us played, none of us maybe even looked into. Like we heard of them in passing. Like beyond like Disco Elysium, that's probably like our number one to play,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then Control probably.
Yeah, we gotta check out Control.
A couple
Judgment
of
is
games
really good from what I played, and so is DQ11, by the way.
We got some indie titles that I'd like to just mention, like Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Got nice meme ability this year, really popular, really great fan base.
It wins the meme ability category.
Another one I'd like to talk about is Baba Is You.
Oh my, Baba Is You is dope.
I can't believe you forgot that.
That is a fun co-op game. If you're looking for the next dangerous lovers in a dangerous space time, pick up Baba Is You. Just play it with somebody sitting on the couch. Like
Yell at each other.
Game?
it's fun to play with someone.
That game is like you're programming the game through verbs.
Yeah.
The mechanic of that game is so unique. It's really cool.
It
And
is
it's so
a ver-
simple. It's like someone should have made this, and someone did.
Yeah. It's great. I can't remember if it's single player. I think it is.
It is, but like it's an easy like couch.
it's
like everyone yell at you. Kind
Yeah.
Of game.
We got some shooters on here that like okay, they're shooters. We don't really do too many mainstream shooters. Destiny's very mainstream now. Used to not be, but like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, The Division 2, Gears 5, Days Gone. Like if you're into those are like except for Gears 5, I haven't heard too many good things about. Days Gone is going to be hit and miss.
We had a tournament Gears 5 at my workplace yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
Days
Gone.
Gone is a game where like some people love it and some people think it's trash. But
Yeah.
the people who love it seem to really like it.
I'd say if you liked something like Dying Light, Days Gone might be for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a zombie game. Zombie game.
I played the Division 2 at PAX West this year. I loved it. I loved the first one. I heard the environment isn't as great as the first one, and a lot of people like miss that really dynamic snowy map, but I hear that Summer Jungle is a nice change of pace. I heard there's a lot of quality of life changes. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you know, it's the newest Call of Duty title. I haven't heard awful things about it yet.
Surprisingly.
That game is really good. Like,
Yeah,
if I could pay like $20 for the campaign, I probably would play it.
Yeah. Shadowbringers Final Fantasy ongoing game.
Right, that's a thing, right? If I'm waiting for them to streamline the early game, which they said they are, but I hear
That's coming
Shadowbringers
soon.
just blows everyone's dicks off.
We played Final Fantasy 14 this past summer together.
It was wild, wild time.
Okay, so back to Final Fantasy 14. It's probably the best MMO I've played. And I've played WoW and everything.
And we're still in the shit parts.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. If you have an MMO, it's just play Final Fantasy 14. Everything else, like, don't even look at.
Stop
Dauntless had their official release this year, their official 1.0.
What the hell's Dauntless?
Dauntless
Dauntless.
is bad Monster Hunter.
It is free to play Monster Hunter. If you and your friends want a different like feel of Monster Hunter, you're not into the really complex UX and everything that Monster Hunter has. You don't have maybe a couple of other friends to try it out with. Dauntless, free to play. It's like Monster Hunter. It's still really fun.
Dauntless is to Monster Hunter as Jedi Fallen Order is to Sekiro.
Yeah.
That's no, Jedi Fallen Order is better than that.
Another shooter we didn't get to talk about that came out this year, Metro Exodus. I don't think any of us played that.
People like those games.
Yeah. And then some action slashers. Code Vein, which I think Willer played.
Yeah, no, if I played it would be on the list. I want to play it in the future. I hear it's actually a pretty decent Souls game.
I think these are games just like on a couple, like these are games on my to play list if they're not already on this list. Darksiders Genesis I played at PAX this year. I never played a Darksiders game before.
Darksiders.
This looks fun. It looks like a Diablo Darksiders kind of thing.
It was fun. I enjoyed it a little bit of the part that I played. I actually played it like the entire like 30-minute session. I didn't hate it.
Yep.
And then didn't anybody know about Neo 2?
Yeah, I mean, I've played Neo. I'm a big fan.
Did you play Neo 2?
I'm not a big fan. I'm a fan. No, I haven't.
That came out this year. If
Neo 2 beta came out this year. Neo 2 is not out yet.
I thought it came out this year. I did my search before I even
pretty
like,
sure
it says initial release date May 24th.
Of what year?
Oh, they changed it. Release date March 13th. Okay, sorry. I stand corrected. All right. So yeah, take that one off.
My honorable mention of the year, our best ongoing game, is Total War Hammer 2 because you laugh, but every 3 months, I mean, that's $10, and it adds 100 extra hours onto my game time every time.
That sounds awfully awesome.
Shout outs to EDF5. Me and Tyler are gonna get in that. I'm sure
yes.
one day we'll be drunk enough to dive in together. Shout outs to the actual game of the year, as far as Bradley's concerned. Space Station 13. Everyone, round of applause.
Game last 15 years.
Game of the year every year.
Probably my favorite game. And I don't know, second place is probably a fight between like Undertale and Katana Zero.
Whoa,
I think
Katana Zero got up there.
I think this is the first year I played Space Station with you, Brad.
Yeah,
That would be correct.
We all played this year.
Whoa! Sorry.
Yeah, you better be.
I am a big Space Station fan. I enjoy it every time I play it. I definitely have to have some drinks in me though.
Like
This
I've
posted.
played this game a stupid amount on one server alone. Because I play on a bunch of servers. On one server alone, I have over 350 hours. I don't know, and I play on several, so I don't know.
It's the kind of thing where we're gonna go to a social function a day late this weekend because Bradley's Special Boy server is on.
Yeah, like, go, like Friday night, or I could go Saturday morning, and I was like, well, I know what I want to do Friday night.
Let me wrap up this talk by talking about the game of the year, Death Stranding. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it too much. I've talked about it on the podcast, and I am planning to do a video essay if I'm not a lazy bitch. So I'll try to keep it short. Death Stranding is a work of art. I think it's one of the best cases for video games as art, alongside Metal Gear Solid 2 and Mother 3. And Katana Zero is up there now as well. And it's just a fantastic game. Gameplay is phenomenal. The story is wacky and fun. It's not Kojima's best script, but there's so much good stuff in there if you're used to his writing, I guess. That being said, if you tell me you hate this game, I'd be like, yeah, all right. It is such a different game. It is unlike anything. It's not just an action game. It's not just using soul style mechanics. It's doing something innovative with its multiplayer that's tying in with the themes, tying with the story. And subscribe to this channel if you maybe want to hear more. Wink.
To add on, I think I mentioned before,
But like the top 7 games on this list really push their genres. But I think Death Stranding just pushed what games can be about and what they can do in general across a whole spectrum. There's so many great and cool ideas in a game that's not for everyone that I think any kind of game designer, any kind of gamer can look at it and be like, oh, I can understand why that's a cool and unique idea.
With so many games just made for everyone, it's refreshing to have a game with such a clear vision where it's like,
Yeah.
I don't really care if certain people don't like this.
Mhm.
That being said, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and say, hey, Devil May Cry 5 is my favorite game of the year. And then I'll wake up the day after that and be like, man, Death Stranding though. And that's just gonna be my life until 2020.
And then Willard's gonna get drunk with me playing Monster Hunter on Friday and be like, man, this game's fucking the best.
Yeah, I will. Maybe sooner than you think. That's our game of the year deliberations. Let us know which games y'all like in the
Mhm.
comments below.
Yep.
I kind of want to start.
Congratulations. What?
I was gonna say I kind of want to start sharing some of our midcast chat links.
So
Some.
I could put them in the video descriptions if you want.
Like the X gonna give it to you mod.
That's pretty good. That's relevant. This
Yeah.
game Joe posted, Fae Tactics, looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna stop this recording now. All right, Bradley, let's talk about Arc 24 now.
Crushed.
Crushed.
Named after the soda.
Yes.
Orange Crush.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about these Arc names pretty soon.
Yeah, I guess we will, won't we?
So, Crushed is a bulk of the Behemoth fight. I think I want to open up with a little rant I have about Behemoth. But this
Man on blast.
he would put me on blast if I was anywhere close to him, which is part of the rant. I've always had a thing, and this extends beyond Worm, where there's I don't know why, but in my mind, if there's a character that's just ungodly powerful, and there's no feasible way that people can take it out unless there's some bullshit or some very Deus Ex Machina or luck, I'm put off from the get-go. And I feel like maybe it's because I'm like, man, this is just so unfair. And like it just reminds me of the unfairness of life or something. But it just puts me off to begin with. An example would be a certain character in the Chimera Ant arc from Hunter x Hunter. I got that vibe from characters like that, or like say a Dragon Ball villain where he's introduced and he's just like, oh, Jiren is so strong, Goku's gonna have to do some bullshit to beat him, etc. It just always rubs me off. And that being said, it can still salvage itself with how it's utilized, which is really important. Which is important to say because, like, when Leviathan showed up, I was like, oh man, these Endbringers are giving me that weird vibe I get inside of me. That's a very personal thing, right? Thankfully, I think the way Leviathan and the Simurgh are used really counter that. I feel like there's a lot of parts of them that are balanced and maybe like a storytelling point where Leviathan is really strong, but you can see his movements, you can see his attacks, and there's a good chance you'll survive, but he will fuck up your city. That's his that's his big thing.
Don't get me wrong.
The Simurgh is easy to fight off, but she can do very complex plans to make sure certain people die. you could argue back and forth with like how dangerous that is in comparison to the other three. But I feel like I picture her as the assassin, where it's like I need to kill the king of this country. The simmer could set in motion the events that would where that would happen the most likely, or something like that, you know. Behemoth I just feel is like objectively like the most broken of the three, and just this idea that at any point you're fighting him, right, you can be struck by lightning, which is fast and you can't dodge it, and if he gets close to you, you just die. You just get obliterated from his aura, and he can make earthquakes and fires, and it's just like they call Leviathan kind of like the in between, where he can be smart and like a tactician, but also strong and hard hitting, and then Simurgh is the big brains, where she can set in motion these big plans. Behemoth is way too smart and deadly, where it's like Leviathan is such a small problem in comparison, and the Simurgh's effectiveness is so debatable, like with just how complex her powers are, at least from where I am. Where it's just like, my god, Behemoth is a absolute lad.
I'll say the Simurgh has always probably been my favorite out of the three.
Mm-hmm.
What I think, like, what I like about this arc isn't necessarily Behemoth. I think it's like all the stuff that's going on in the setting around the fight, because like whenever I look back on it, I feel like half the arc they're not even fighting Behemoth. They're like walking around underground or talking to people, or learning things. So
yeah,
it's really interesting. And at least when they are fighting Behemoth, I kind of like the maneuvers they do, where they make the giant V sign, which I'm remembering is funny because they explicitly did it because I think Cuff didn't want to make a rude gesture like flipping off, so she chose V for victory. But that's actually like an equivalent of flipping someone off over there. So.
Yeah, that was a good touch. I think that's revealed later, but
I like the kind of power synergies they do.
Yeah, but that's basically my Behemoth rant. There's a second part to it, I guess, is that I feel like there should have been more despair here. And don't get me wrong, the situation gets super dire, especially when Behemoth is cornering in on the Undersiders and some of the other groups. That shit was super tense, right? And I really love that. What I mean is, like, when you're fighting Behemoth, at any point you can get struck down by a lightning bolt. But a lot of the characters are just kind of, like, acting the same way they would in any kind of high-stakes fight. They're like... If you're fighting Jack, I feel like a lot of the characters would be acting the same. And Jack is, like, not nearly as deadly. There was one character that kind of did freak out and I really liked, and I think it was Cuff. I wanted to see more of, like, I'm in a war zone right now where a mortar shell can land on me at any point, and I'm just freaking the fuck out, and I'm kind of losing it.
Yeah, I can actually see that, because, like you said, as opposed to, like, when you're fighting a more traditional enemy, I feel like here, the entire time, the like hairs on the back of my neck would be standing up because I'm like, actually, any second I could die.
Yeah, and like you can't dodge like certain lightning bolt. Like if he's anywhere near you, you're super liable to die. And don't get me started on like the dread that would be. Oh God, he's just running at us. Like, what do? And a lot of these people are inexperienced, so it's like, it's when you're fighting Leviathan, you can see what he's doing, and you can kind of start at least reacting, because he has to make motions to make his big water attacks, which I think is a good balancing act for him. And he can be tricky with his water clone and stuff, you know, but like, it's not a one-shot kill lightning bolt. So yeah, it's just a little thing where like, it would have been cool to see more pandemonium, because if I was there, I would be on the verge of throwing up every single second, you know. No jokes would be getting cracked. I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
On to the content here. In the first chapter, an Alexandria shows up, and I was like, is this an Alexandria clone, or is she revived? And this made me worried a little bit. As it turns out, it's Pretender, right? That's his name.
Yeah, and it was funny because the first time I was reading this story, I saw Alexandria there, and for a few seconds I was like, "Oh, that's bullshit." But then I kind of realized what story I was reading, and I was like, "There's no way it's that easy or that simple or whatever."
Yeah, I do like how it's not like she's just revived, but this feeds back into my problem with 22. We'll never escape 22. That's why it's called Cell. Um, or
Perfect spell.
was that one Cell? I think that was Cell.
Yeah, it was so
Okay, perfect. Good analogy, Willer.
perfect.
My problem with it is when Taylor kills Alexandria, a big part of why I was like disgusted with it is that like Alexandria is a triumvirate. No matter what she does, the world needs her to be alive for the next 2 years, man. It is super vital that they have the full fighting force, especially when things like Behemoth exist and you're really seeing him in motion, right? This took away that horrible thing that she did by removing one of the three big pieces of the fighting Endbringer puzzle, and it just kind of fixed it. So again, Taylor's punishment was such a slap on the wrist, where even the worst thing she did for humanity, which was killing Alexandria, got reverted in a way. So it's like, oh, Alexandria can still be here. There's no problems with fighting the Endbringers now. You still have all three triumvirates, or there's still problems, right? But it's not as a
Yeah, I
severe
think
of a
that we
hit.
can actually. I think that's actually. I hadn't ever actually really thought about that, but I think that's actually really valid. I said actually like 5 times that sentence.
You actually did.
I actually did. But yeah, I actually had not thought of that. I think it's a good point. I want to see what other people think about this.
Yeah, leave comments below.
Leave comments or email us at roundaboutcast@neopets.org.
Is that? Can you have Neopet emails?
I don't know. Can you?
No, okay, you made that up. You had me for a second.
John F. Neopet probably has a Neopet email.
Yeah, well. But yeah, that's basically my thing. That I might have ranted a slightly bit too much longer than I wanted to, but it rubs me off the wrong way and kind of doubled down my problems with 22, where like at this point they're not fixable, and I'm just gonna have to move on. So we get to see what Contessa does shortly after that, which is a sight to behold. What do? I win. Good line.
Yeah, I told Willer that if it was up to me, that's where I would have split the chapter. Even though it probably would have made the chapter very short, I just think ending it there is just like such a bomb drop because we've had peaks of Contessa just like totally
shop.
soloing teams of people up to this point, seemingly like really easily. So, and this was even a bigger deal for me because like the friend who originally recommended me Worm, he was always just like, "Oh, Contessa's the coolest. She's so cool. Like you're gonna love it." And then I finally got here, and it's like Taylor's like, "We're obviously not gonna win," and she's like, "What do you do?" She's like, "What's your power?" And Contessa's like, "I win." And even though there's no chapter break there, I braked there because I was like, "Holy shit!"
Put the iPad down. So a really cool thing about Contessa is that she explained how she wins, and then Taylor's like, "Well, just go beat the Behemoth then." And the idea that she can't, and the realization where it's like, oh, Contessa might not even see a path of victory when it comes to fighting the Endbringers, was a very sobering thought.
Yeah. And,
Also, it got me in the mindset where it's like, this arc is called Crush. They're super gonna lose.
I really love how, like, I think Contessa's ability is really cool in combat, but I also love outside of that how it can kind of be used as a story device based on whether she can or can't see a path to victory, and also if there is a path to victory, what it is. Because, like, the implication that maybe she can't see a path because there is none, it's really grim, but I thought it was interesting. The other thing I find interesting is Contessa basically reveals her ability to Taylor. She says, "I can see the paths to victory and execute them perfectly." And Taylor says, "This is such a big secret. Why are you telling me this?" And Contessa says, "I think that should be obvious." And Taylor
Hmm.
says, I don't think it is that obvious, but what I kind of get out of this is a few things that she basically said, I think it's obvious immediately after telling Taylor her ability. So either revealing her ability to Taylor is part of a path to victory, like it's part of something she's trying to accomplish,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe like if she didn't tell Taylor her ability, they would have resumed fighting at some point. But
Mm.
if she reveals that this is her ability, Taylor's like, obviously, I'm not going to fight you, because if Contessa's fighting you in the first place, it's because there's no chance she's going to lose. She's following a path to victory.
So I had no read on this before. I just kind of let this one slide. As you were explaining it, I kind of thought it was the first one.
Yeah.
Where it's the Doctor Strange thing. It's put this is our one chance, and part of it is me telling you.
1 in 14
Yeah.
quadrillion.
I will use this Contessa fight as an example of the problem that I echo a lot with Worm action. Is that it can be a little too long. I mean, I guess that's the one main weakness of Worm in general, is that it's a little bit too long on the.
Is a beefy boy.
It's a beefy boy. It could stand to do some Ring Fit adventure. And I picked this point out just because I thought, like, it just popped into my mind. It's like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So Contessa beats the group, the Chicago Ward, I believe. That's like she was fighting that whole group. She beats them once. She beats them once. She doesn't explain the power yet, but after she like pins Taylor down, Taylor manages to escape, and they go a second round. I don't think that second round was needed. I thought the first round was super cool, and it left enough like intrigue on just how much she can dodge stuff. So it's just like, that's just one of those examples where it's like you could cut this fight in half, get the same point across, and shorten a little bit of the overall length of the story. And I guess I think about this a lot because in my mind I'm constantly thinking of how Worm could fit into a Netflix series, which we could talk about later.
Boy, get ready for the script drop.
Oh yeah. But it's just one of those things where it's like, if I was to direct this fight, I feel like this might be a chance to like cut a little bit off, because realistically you cannot adapt all of Worm to a TV series. It's just way too massive, and it's part of the adaptation process, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's something I think about too, because like as long as it is, like I'm still one of the super fans who like enjoys pretty much the whole thing, but I think pretty much anyone could agree that there are places where the story could be trimmed down.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when we finally get the final edited version of the story, wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink at Wildbow, who's not sitting next to me,
or listening to us at all.
I don't know. I think he's, from what I hear, he's streamlining the story, and I'll be really interested to see how things like that turn out.
I was also thinking, like, just as a side note, kind of putting a target on my back, Battery and Assault can completely cut out that storyline. Maybe that's harsh to say, but that really didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows?
I think the main thing we got out of like the Battery interlude was the idea that Cauldron like is assisting certain members of the Slaughterhouse 9.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, it's just kind of like the rom-commy thing between Battery and Assault. So
yeah, but in a 30 arc long story, you know.
Yeah.
But regardless, yeah, that was just a little side note there. So we start talking about Endbringers and their goals, and how each time they attack, they have a goal, and how they explicitly hold back. So this is Behemoth holding back, by the way, and Leviathan destroying that city was holding back.
Yeah, they're jobbing. They're jabronis.
The Simmer ruining the life of these teenagers was super holding back. So it's like, Jesus Christ, how doomed is humanity? You know, like. And there's 3 of these fuckers, and they attack on a regular interval. It couldn't get worse. We meet Fursay, who you say is one of your favorite characters.
Oh my god, I fucking love this guy.
Tell me why you love this guy, because for me, he kind of came and went. I totally get that he's a dark mirror of Taylor, but I wanna hear what you got to say.
Yeah, I've always loved him because, like, right off the bat, I just kind of love his presence that he's introduced with.
Definitely.
Because I think the way they, like, Taylor's walking with a companion, and whenever they walk up on Fierce, she doesn't know who he is, and this guy is like, whenever there's like controversy and talk goes around of disbanding organizations like the Protectorate, it's guys like him that we bring up to make them change their mind.
That's so good.
And like, basically, I think the way they describe it is, in India, there's kind of like the more flashy capes that, are more analogous to what goes on in America. And then there's guys like him that kind of operate out of sight of the outside world.
The cold capes.
Yeah, and I think he even brings up the idea of like S-class threats that the majority of the world isn't even aware exist, that they're in charge of fighting. So I just like the way he's introduced, but I love his conversations with Taylor because I really think he's a glimpse into what she could become someday.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that she has done that he says he admires, that she takes these hard choices. She'll take the tough road if she thinks it's for the best, because that's the thing that he will do, and that's the thing that he's done. He explicitly he references a time where there was an extremely just powerful, monstrous, evil villain, and he was able to take them out, but his family had died in the process. And through his power, he could have conceivably gone back and saved his family, but he didn't, because he knew there was a chance this villain could come back. And I think that's, I don't know if Taylor is at that point where she would sacrifice her father to take out a villain, but if she keeps building upon the philosophy that she's built up over the course of this book, I could see her becoming someone like Fierce.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this for 10 years, like way longer than Taylor has. And we see where that takes him. We kind of see like the extreme side of this philosophy where he will risk completely destroying like one of the most populous cities in the world, and maybe this subcontinent, for a chance at taking out an Endbringer.
Yeah.
And
dude's wild.
And he views himself perfectly justified in it. It's almost utilitarian.
Yeah.
These however many hundreds of thousands, or probably more like millions or tens of millions, however many people are here, they die, but the billions of the rest of humanity, they're fine, so that's okay.
Quite the philosophy,
I really like their conversations.
They got good chemistry.
Yeah.
But well said, Bradley. That's why we pay you the big bucks.
The big bucks. Donate to my Patreon that doesn't exist.
From then on, we get this 15-minute time limit. I kind of missed what Fierce's power even was. Could you re-explain it to me? I just know he had that big device bomb. What was his power necessarily?
So he has two portals, and basically an object can go in one portal and come out of the other one a few minutes in the past or future.
Mm-hmm.
And he has kind of set up some way of using these portals to like loop light back on itself and duplicate it.
Jesus.
And so he's like, oh, I'm just gonna make a huge energy bomb, which Taylor's like, that's a really bad idea, because this particular Endbringer manipulates energy.
Yeah, and it was part the whole goal, right, was that it wanted to absorb this attack and then just dish it back out into huge explosions. So,
We
whew.
know, at this point, I think we know the Endbringers have objectives, and
yeah,
so Fierce knew that like they were roughly on schedule for a new Endbringer attack to happen. So a few days ago, he had started charging up one of these attacks, and he just couldn't go on anymore. He started too early, so he started up another one, and Behemoth is like, "Oh, well, this guy keeps charging up energy because he wants to hit me with it. I guess I'll go let him."
do it. Um, so this chapter ends with the Endbringers pinned down by Behemoth, and this is like some of the most tense Worm has ever been because he's so close to them, and that bullshit overpowered aura is just going to melt them.
Ooh.
And Golem in particular and Tecton are doing so much to hold them back, and it just makes you very uneasy. And
And
oh
speaking
man,
of, before we get into the kicker,
oh right, Golem.
yeah, he's cool.
Well, he's
I wonder who
Theo.
he is.
Oh, is that? I can say that. I'm going to say that that's not a spoiler because, as you pointed out to me, it's in the bottom of the chapters that Theo is there, and it's pretty clear with the context clues that he is Golem. So I
Yeah.
think we're good.
And one thing I think that's cool about the current team he's on, and Taylor points this out, where, like you mentioned, that Golem and Tecton are doing a lot to kind of keep Behemoth at bay.
Because
And
the whole team is built on synergy, right?
yeah, she's like, "Wow, your team has a ton of battlefield control," and I think Tecton was like, "Yeah, we actually aimed for that when building our team," and it's like, "Oh yeah, heroes can build teams because villains usually don't end up with each other by choice. they usually just kind of end up together. So yeah, heroes can be like, oh, if you were to go be a hero in, I don't know, Boston, you could synergize with this person, and it's like, oh, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's a really cool concept. Exclusive to the hero. Maybe this hero thing isn't so bad, huh?
Maybe hero not so bad.
You know what is bad?
Ooh,
Regent.
he gone.
Don't say it like that.
No, pour one out for our boy.
Fuck,
Some Crown
man.
Royal.
You know what's the worst part about his death? It almost feels like he didn't do anything. Because, like, so as I understood it, Behemoth was super close. Regent steps out for like a second to just get him to look over. Behemoth looks over, roasts him, and in that second, they're able to drive him off more. But, like, that could have gone so wrong, and it was just like a second distraction. It's hard to say if, like, they even needed that distraction to really pull it off because, like, the timing felt so close. It felt like Regent got roasted immediately and Behemoth was back at it.
Yeah, I think in particular he was like trying to kite Behemoth away from Imp, who
yeah.
was far away.
Who he
And
loves.
I'm
more or
actually going to
less.
talk a lot more about Regent's death in the next arc,
Okay.
where Taylor is able to reflect on it.
Yeah.
At least here, for the short part of it, I did like that we kind of, Regent is someone who was very like emotionally distant at the beginning of the story, and for a lot of it he's a sociopath, and he doesn't really care about anything the way the others do.
It's tough to say that he's a sociopath at the same time because I keep thinking back of when he helped Taylor out without her even knowing.
Yeah, you know what?
And it's like he has emotions, but they're so crisscrossed and fucked up, and he just can't process them. And it's really complex and interesting.
Yeah,
So
I just like that.
I think he did care.
He finally met someone that was kind of able to give him what he had lost from living with his father, probably.
It's such a bummer, and it's like Regent, it'd be so hard for him to make up for the horrible things he's done, but like maybe he could have become something better.
Yeah.
and he was on his way. Kind of. It's hard to say. He was still a villain, and he still had so much to go. But he's already made so much progress, and I genuinely think he cared about the Undersiders.
I think Regent is an awesome character, and I get that this is like a very hectic battle, but I would have appreciated more, like, more text talking about this probably.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say that. Well, I'm gonna say two things. One, I'm gonna say Wildbow is a fucking coward when it comes to character deaths, and here's why. Um, People say, and I've heard this sentiment before, that Worm is such a cool series because anyone can die at any point. I'm gonna say that people in Worm die as average as other series.
especially with like especially compared to like most of the media that's out there now.
It's no Game of Thrones, you know, where like,
Yeah.
and what I mean by this, like, people are clearly dying, but this is the first real character death on the protagonist side of the story. Like, what are some of the other major deaths so far? You know, we had Coil, maybe Mannequin, because he had a big impact on Taylor. Maybe Bakuda and Tag in Alexandria. You know, Alexandria's back as their zombie self, so it's like that's the impact there is kind of even undone. So it's like this is the first serious character death. So I feel like that's pretty on par. Like, I'm not disparaging this choice at all, but I also don't think it's super fair to say, well, Worm is this crazy story, man. And yeah, Wildbow might be doing his dice rolls, but this is the first time I feel like where it's truly. Do you know if this was a dice roll, by the way, or was this intended?
I don't think it was,
Okay,
but don't quote me on that.
it's not really like a serious complaint either way. It's just like, it's not what the internet led me to believe, but I've understood that since like Leviathan. Granted, things are getting pretty hectic where I am, but we'll see where that goes. Woo. I mean, at the end of the series is when people generally die, so that's not really that weird. But I will say it's a bummer though that when he did choose to do a character death, I think he did the character with the most potential. Like you said, there were so few lines spared relative to what could have been said about this death, and Regent was so interesting, and there was so much to explore with that character. I feel like, I don't know, and it's also like the one that impacts Taylor maybe the least out of anyone that could have died. So it just ends up being like it's a really unfortunate choice that it had to be Regent in my opinion, because I
think the time where his death really shines is later when she gets to visit his like monument or whatever.
Yeah. Pour one out, man.
Woo.
What else do we got? There's a line here that I really think highlights just how hectic the situation is, where like Taylor says, can we even coordinate with this many different languages? And I think it speaks to how Endbringers have to bring people of all sorts of cultures and backgrounds together, and they have to somehow manage to fight these monsters that can very easily kill various capes with single attacks. Even the Simurgh has attacks strong enough to like straight up kill capes, right?
Yeah, she so like through buildings.
Yeah, so like none of them are there's gonna be deaths no matter what. And yeah, I just thought that was an interesting point because teamwork is such a big point of Worm. I feel like all the battles are built around teamwork. Finally, Cavalier interlude. Mouseier Girl is here. She's super funny and cute, and rest in peace, Mouseier Girl.
You hate to see it.
Though I guess I'm gonna be seeing a lot of her, huh?
Hey.
In the future with all these supposed clones coming back.
Chevalier's badass. I'm just throwing that out here.
God, man. I like how him and Miss Militia kind of like they dated for a little bit, and he has a crush on her, but you know they're both business oriented. So there's a thing where Cavalier can see people's trigger events? Question mark.
He like views these auras around people.
Yeah, I don't think I got an explanation for that yet. Unless I did.
I think you can take it for what it says at this
Okay.
point.
Yeah, that was my plan. There's only 50 heroes left at this point, dude. That's nuts. Fuck Behemoth.
Man, my entire first read through of Worm. This can be like a very emotional, like it has a lot of emotional highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
This was in my first read through the one chapter that actually made me cry.
Damn.
And my one cry, and as dark a story as Worm, was actually a happy cry. When Behemoth died, I've talked about this before, but for some reason, like humanity's struggle against the Endbringers has always been just like a really, like,
depressing story beat.
Yeah, it's just something I've always really connected with and been fascinated with. And when Behemoth dies and everyone, hero and villain alike, is like hugging each other and laughing and crying, and Chevalier says he feels like he can feel the whole world cheering along with them. Like,
it's beautiful.
Just saying it.
It's beautiful, dude. It's fantastic.
I love it.
Also, like, we got to talk about his part in it. He, like, deals such a critical blow to Behemoth after the first aid bomb to keep him down, and he's in the death zone and his armor is like surviving it, which is just what a fucking badass.
And he makes his cannon blade grow to like 20, 30 feet or something.
Wildbow fucking watches anime, man. I'm telling you.
Animation right there.
And then, you know, Scion shows up and finishes him off, and it's such a feel good moment.
Yeah, and even this like comes back to Kevin Norton's interlude, where it's like, you know, if we didn't have that interlude, I'd be like, oh well, why did Scion finally do this now?
And there's
and
why.
We think back, like Kevin Norton's like, no, don't fight them, kill them. And then the next time there is one,
which is Kevin's fears were correct. You know,
ooh, man.
The fears that maybe all these lives are just because I used the wrong words with the Golden Man. I wonder what happened to them all. I got nothing for the second interlude personally, so I'm good for arc 24.
Yeah, to me, Chevalier's interlude is like the real conclusion to this arc. After that, it's just kind of wrapping things up, putting characters where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are good moments in there, but we have more we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
So I think we...
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
We sober ourselves up to talk about One Piece.
Yeah,
Who
we're
likes One Piece here? Anybody?
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 No?
No? Okay,
Really?
well, never mind.
All right, let's take it, pack it in. Oh shit, my milk is out. Hold on.
Your milk?
Oh no.
Is that a euphemism for something? Your milk is showing. I'm gonna take a swig of my Smirnoff Ice.
I'm back. We're super professional, I promise.
Are we
That's
though?
good shit.
So we're recording this a day after our Game of the Year discussion, which all of you should check out. We had a lot of fun recording that.
It was a lot more fun than I thought it was gonna be.
Came up with a really good list. But we saved talking about One Piece for today, so Bradley could give us his hottest takes live.
Yeah, in this volume, spoiler alert, like pretty much every volume of One Piece is a doozy.
My God.
I heard, and I'm really excited for today, because I heard this is like one of the first volumes in One Piece where Willer and Joe are kind of have some divisive opinions on it. Is that correct?
I'd say that's correct.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
When we get there, we get there.
You will know when we get there.
When we get there, we'll say yeah. That's
yeah.
a Polar Express reference, the best movie ever made.
Actually, so did you know Polar Express has a TV show now?
What?
It's by a different name, but it's doing like all the books, and it's apparently doing them justice.
Well, damn.
So if you're into that, you should check out that TV
Wait,
Welcome
show.
to Polar Express cast.
Wait, there's a Polar Express series?
Yes.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I thought it was just one book.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Do I read books? Do you know me?
Yo, I hated the Polar Express when I was little.
That's
The
good.
book, the movie, or both?
The movie, because every December my mom will like blast the soundtrack in the house for like 20 days straight.
I'm sorry you were abused like that.
Yeah.
All right, 265. Yeah.
Yeah, so volume 29, I kind of like, so I was looking at the chapter titles in this volume, and it's funny because um like several of the chapters are just straight up named like this person versus this person, so you know exactly what you're getting into, and I think that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big staple for later too.
Yeah, but also like the rest of the chapters besides those are all kind of named after like, I guess, like performances,
Oh,
you'd say.
interesting.
Like there's concerto and suite, serenade and stuff like that.
I didn't pick up on that.
I just think it's really fun. That I think it's fun when chapters kind of have like a naming convention, but also this, a lot of the events going on in this volume were like orchestrated or prophesized by the kami. So
Mm.
whenever anything bad is happening in one of these chapters that's named in this way, I'm like, oh, this is all just like this performance that he's setting up, or he's just having fun with this.
Yeah.
And I'm probably reading too much into it, but
That
I mean,
that feels intentional. I wouldn't put it past Oda.
that's just what I like to do. And like that's even more apparent when the last chapter of this volume is named after the Divine Comedy, which is where we get like the biggest oh shit, there's no way we're gonna defeat the kami.
Definitely
Yeah. So-
intentional.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool.
Bradley, this is bad to have on podcast, but you seem a little bit loud. If there's any way you could turn yourself down slightly.
Yeah. Okay, here's what I hate is that like my microphone, I always turn the gain all the way down. Like it can't go lower
Okay.
unless it's off.
All right. We
So
will.
I don't know what to do.
We will deal. Joe would just have to speak up to match you.
Ah!
No, do not do that. Okay.
Just gonna whisper. Welcome to the ASMR cast. We're gonna read One Piece today.
You're doing pretty
Okay.
good. All right. Let's jump into it then.
Yeah. So all that being said, the first half of this volume, there's gonna be a lot less like discussion and a lot more just like, hey, this is really fucking cool. The latter half of this volume is when we get to the like big boy shit.
Yeah, I got some notes because I read this volume before handing it to Bradley, so it's fresh on my mind as well.
Yeah. So, chapter 265, first chapter of the volume. It's Robin versus Yama,
Mm-hmm.
and you get exactly what you paid for. It's Robin versus Yama, and like holy shit, it's really cool.
The ending of that fight's badass.
Like, I don't know if I've said it before, but if I haven't, like I think her Devil Fruit is just my favorite one so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool, and there's so much you can do with it. It's very versatile.
The panel of Yama like getting his like fingers bent backwards by Robin's other hands and her back's facing towards her is one of the mini panels I have on my wallpaper.
Yeah.
That's what gets Joe's rocks going.
There's like that, and then like
When she pulls his face up.
Yeah.
yeah, and like he jumps at her, and she like makes a vine to like stop him, and then like whenever he's on the ground, she makes like a kind of a railroad of hands to just like carry him off the island.
I love how she reverses his belt of axe dials in midair, so that way
Yeah.
he slams it into his own stomach. But I think the notable thing here is that it shows a weakness to Robin's fruit that we haven't heard of before, where she does feel what her hands feel, and she is limited on weight, where she talks about how he's heavy and she can't really swing him around too much because it's a strain on her arms.
Yeah, she has like a pained look on her face when she's trying to carry him.
But yeah,
That's a really cool way to like reveal that information to the reader.
yeah, good fight, quick one chapter fight again, good
Yeah.
pacing.
The next chapter is Pirate Chopper versus Vassal Ohm.
I love this.
And dude, Ohm is a beast. His challenge, I guess talking about all the different challenges, Challenge of the Iron I think is really cool.
It's so unfair too, though, because it's like
It's very powerful.
50%, 25%. He's like, yeah, no one lives here.
Yeah, and man, I just love the Skypiea arc. How much Chopper we've been getting.
For real.
I know we've said that before, but it's just so good.
There's some good stuff with Chopper and Zoro a little bit later too.
Yeah. And a lot of this chapter is also like kind of chess piecing people around, because by the end of this volume, we kind of have everybody where the ruins are. So there's a lot of like Luffy and Zoro and Robin kind of making their way around the island.
Yeah. I wonder where Luffy is. He seems to be in a weird cave.
Yeah, it's funny because I guess you don't really know what actually he's in until later.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, did you know or did you know when it was revealed?
I knew like a little bit before it was revealed, but I don't know what exactly tipped me off.
Alright, we'll keep an eye for it.
All right, so chapter 267, March. This is kind of a lot more people making their way to the like ruins, and we even kind of get a panel where it's showing like all the combatants up here, where it's like Zoro next to Ohm, next to Wiper, next to Ganfor.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I think this might be where I found out where Luffy is, because he's like, "What's with this cave?" And he's like punching, and then you see the snake like,
Oh yeah.
it's no big secret.
yeah. But yeah, that's just kind of like a moving people around chapter, and then we progress pretty swiftly into chapter 268, Sweet, where we actually start getting some of the fighting, and like, dude, like, of course Zoro's gonna fight Ohm because sword boys. And while he's doing that, like Robin's just being cool again, where she's digging and she makes like an assembly line of arms to carry the Cloud Blossom
That's
away.
really cool. And in an earlier chapter, we actually got to see her kind of just without any real dialogue. She was just kind of looking at the ruins, and there's a couple of panels of it too. And I thought that was just a nice, peaceful moment of Robin kind of in her element.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's breaking, and once again, she's being used at this service of like having the reader kind of. It's a way for the people that want to get more out of the world, just another gateway for her to like think about it and like present those facts to the reader. If we could, because we definitely couldn't tell what was happening there.
I
Yeah,
just realized my fucking Google Hangout camera's still on.
it's true. I've been looking at your lovely face for a little bit.
No. Let's turn that off.
I mean, it won't matter in this audio podcast.
But yeah, no, Robin is like it's like a really good tool. She's such a tool. No, it's just a really good device that Oda introduced to give us more world information, because like we've been hearing about some event that happened like roughly 800 years ago. And obviously we the reader don't know what that is, but I don't think we necessarily knew how much of a mystery it was to Robin as well. She's like, is this some clue to what happened 800 years ago?
It's she's clearly very invested in this mystery.
Yeah.
And you have to think if her intentions in Alabasta were related to this at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's like her, I imagine, like at this point, her long-running objective. You find out that the ruins are Shandora, the lost city of gold.
Yo.
And then we get to chapter 260.
One last thing about 268 that I had down is that little moment with Chopper and Zoro. Chopper, like, there's been a couple of beats in the story where Zoro's kind of big brothering Chopper.
Yeah.
And they're really subtle from time to time, but I think it's really brought to the forefront here when Zoro dodges an attack from Ohm and looks over and he sees Chopper laying half dead and immediately runs over to him.
Yeah.
And it's rare to see Zoro this shaken up. So I really, really like that moment. We've had a couple beats, but this is really reinforcing what kind of dynamic Zoro and Chopper have specifically.
Yeah, like I feel like there are other members of the Straw Hat crew, like maybe like Luffy or Sanji, where if he saw them laying there like that, he'd be like, Ah, they'll be all right.
If he saw Sanji laying down, he'd go pee on him or some
Yeah.
shit.
But yeah, we love our boy.
I love this line about him about the guy going like, "Do you seek revenge?" He's like, "I don't like to fight with a motive, but I feel one coming on right now."
That's really
Dude,
good. That's
That was such a
fantastic.
good line. Holy shit.
Man, Zoro cool.
Zoro, that was a real, that line really jumped out to me. I
Good.
really
Good job pointing that one out, Joe. I missed that.
Chapter 269.
Doom.
What do we got going on here? This is kind of more Zoro fighting, and we get to see Ohm's like cloud sword. And I'm not talking Final Fantasy VII. I'm talking it's a cloud.
I'm talking about Nimbus.
I'm talking about Nimbus out here.
Why is he making JoJo's pose?
Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Is he?
I mean, ish.
Where at?
Hold on.
Yeah, posted in the mid-cast chat that none of the people will see. But
I
we'll see.
mean, sure. He's just putting his glasses up. So one interesting thing. Now we've seen all of the 4 vassals' abilities, and they're all cloud ability and Dio abilities. Not a single devil fruit among them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So that's a nice little mix-up from Alabasta, where I think all of the last 4 groups had a devil fruit user among them of Baroque works. So that's an interesting little just mix-up. Since we're in Skypiea, it's like we're not going to get a chance to use this technology very often. So let's have a little villain group where they get to kind of utilize some of this technology in fun combat situations.
Yeah, it's really nice that One Piece just mixes it up, and I don't know, like
I think it's important too because it's a similar setup to Alabasta, where you got 4 main opponents. Granted, in Alabasta there were groups of 2s as well, but it's a good mix-up from feeling too samey because you got a Logia final boss, and then he's got his underlings you got to fight, and then Oda managed to make this a different scenario where it's engaging and not like retreading any ground.
and then it's like even within the Straw Hats themselves, like you have Zoro, who's like the second strongest, and I like that he doesn't need a devil fruit to be relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And God, I love Mihawk, and to my knowledge, at least, he doesn't have a devil fruit. He's just really badass.
Badass fruit.
Willard, do we confirm or deconfirm this now?
We don't do anything, Joe.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'd probably be happy either way because it's fucking One Piece. But I do want to go on to chapter 270.
We shall.
This like conflict up on the kind of on the ruins, it runs for a lot of this volume, but we kind of get, as we go through it, we're getting more people to this battlefield, aside from the battle itself just being badass, where he makes this like thunderdome of cloud barbed wire.
I think this is the turning point of Skypiea for me. As soon as this dome comes up, I think Skypiea just kind of races to a very strong finish.
Yeah, dude, and we like the intensity ramps up like a motherfucker here. Because that's when Kami Inoue actually shows up
and starts, and it really culminates to the ending of this volume, right?
Yeah, it's like he's gonna do some stuff later on that makes me even more terrified of him. But right off the bat, when he shows up to this fight, we like, if we didn't already believe how like strong or durable he was, like obviously we know someone like Luffy can like get hit with a cannonball and launch it back, but like the Kami, he gets shot like point blank with a gun and doesn't even flinch because they just don't do anything to him.
Yeah.
Because he is Electric Boy.
So Wiper has some really good moments in this chapter as well, where you can go first if you got anything to say.
I was just gonna say, like, I really like how for most of Skypiea, Wiper's been in that mode where like the enemy of my enemy is not my friend. Like, even though the Straw Hats were working towards a similar goal, he would still try to like kill them on sight. But after the Kami shows up, he eventually gets into that mode where like him and Zoro like might try to do combo attacks on the Kami. He's just like maybe he's kind of recognizing like, okay, like we actually have no chance here.
It's so for Wiper, this whole arc has been built up as just kind of a berserk monster, where he's got the pride of his tribe, and like they look up to him, but they're also aware of like how dangerous he can be. And I mean, the very first battle of this arc, he uses a reject dial because he just doesn't give a fuck. He wants to kill all these people who took what he thinks is his birthright as like a holy land. And I think the last chapter in particular, or like earlier in this volume, we see the kind of Wiper rushing in to do more combat, and it just felt like he was willing to throw his life. And you just feel like he's a beast of rage at this point. He's just fighting for his goal of revenge and to take back the land. But seeing him just kind of break down as Rocky is about to get electrocuted by Eneru, I thought that was a really good moment to bring him down to earth, where he's not just about fighting. He has this moment of weakness where he shows how much he cares about his tribe, particularly Rocky, and it's just kind of heartbreaking that he has to watch her get electrocuted.
Yeah.
He can't do anything about it.
This is like the first time we see him hesitate even a little. Like, out of the 81 combatants that the Kami talked about, we're down to 20 something now, maybe less, and he just, even as people are dropping, he keeps pushing forward. But when we reach this point, and he kind of sees the Kami's power firsthand on his friend, like, this is the part where he's like, fuck.
It might have been a wake-up moment where it's I'll win at all costs, even if I have to forsake some pride and team up with these outsiders.
Yeah. And kind of near the end of this chapter, we see that Nami and them have kind of rendezvoused with Luffy inside the giant snake monster.
Rendezvous is a way to put it, I guess.
Not on purpose. And the next chapter is Pirate Zolo versus Vassal Ohm, which we knew was going to happen when we learned he had a sword. So, you know.
Good old Zolo.
Sword versus sword, ballerina, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, and so there's kind of a lot of snake battling in the first half of this chapter. And I think at this point, Zoro knows that they're inside the snake, because I think he saw Nami and them go into it.
Yeah, he at least saw that group go in.
So he's like, fuck, I gotta take care of the snake, but also he's under attack.
The snake is clearly tough. It's shrugging these bazooka blasts like it's nothing.
Yeah. One part I particularly liked in this fight is later on when he kind of moves on from fighting the snake to fighting Ohm. He puts his bandana on, which he does this occasionally in fights, and that's always like a shit's getting real moment for me.
Ash Ketchum turns his hat backwards.
Yeah, it just puts me in mind of like early Zoro, like when we first met him, and he wore it much more often when he was just like more like serious, like I'm gonna fuck you up mode.
Yeah. It's kind of a mental switch for him.
Yeah. So I just think that's really cool. That's a really cool way to like change the mood of the fight.
Yeah, you know the climax is coming. This this showdown between the stone slab just feels so Western and cool.
Yeah.
Like, they can't see each other through it, but they know that they're about to face off through this wall.
Oh yeah.
They can just feel it. I mean, Ohm can literally feel it.
It's just really cool because after he puts the bandana on, you turn the page and he hits him with the 108-pound Phoenix.
I never understood the pound system.
All right,
Yeah, I don't know.
I got you with
Okay.
the pound system. So the pound system is based off of the Buddhist lore / mythology. Something about like 32 sins or 32. Oh my god, I'm butchering this. It's like there's 32, I think, greeds or sins that humans can commit, and then
Is
there's
it
one.
36?
Sorry, 36, and then if he has 3 swords. So if he's doing a 2 sword attack, he's gonna do 72 pound cannon, and that's the naming scheme for that.
He's committing incest with each of his swords at once.
Yeah, that's sure. That's where you should go with your mind.
Every sin.
But there's been a gradual build up to this move where the first time he ever did like a ranged move was in Whiskey Peak. He does I think it's called Hawkwave, where it's just kind of like a little shockwave he does by slashing the sword. Early in this arc, he beat Braham with a single sword, and now he's out here shooting triple beams. Don't ask me how he's shooting laser slashes. It's just One Piece, baby.
It's because he has full hearts, gamers.
That's yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that kind of caps off that chapter, and we move into 272, titled Play, and like this is the part in the volume where from here on, like it's just like getting exponentially better.
Yeah, stuff gets really good at this point.
Yeah, so we immediately cut to big shit where Robin finds a stone with the same kind of text that the poneglyph has.
Right.
And so we're kind of learning more about the history of this world where the poneglyph must have been here at some point. And she suspects like the Shandians were protecting it.
Yeah, like this whole holy city was built around the idea of protecting this piece of history, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And of course, like that's about all we can know. Like Oda's kind of drip feeding this to us.
Yes.
So it's gonna kind of be like a long haul type deal.
Enjoy your snack, bitch.
Yeah. So shortly after she sees that,
We see God with an apple.
yeah, the kami appears right behind her, and I just remembered. I know Oda probably wasn't thinking of this, but I just remember in Death Note where gods of death love apples, and I see this guy who calls himself a god with an apple.
I think Oda is explicitly referring to that. Or not necessarily Death Note, but apples and Adam and Eve and God.
So yeah, like apples have like really
Symbolic meaning, I guess, mostly for Japanese people. Like,
Yeah.
Western, I haven't seen many Western stories that really focus on the apple aspect like this.
If you think about it, the Varse is basically a forbidden garden that no one's allowed to enter.
Ooh,
fruit.
with a big plant in the middle.
Dude, that's fucking cool.
That's okay. All right, Joe, you're cooking here.
Oh, that's really good.
I like this reveal that he's like, oh, that gold, I already took it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like what they have been working towards for the past like volume and a half. It's just like not even an issue.
Okay, so I don't know if this is the exact point at which this comes up, but I need to mention it just in case. There's a fundamental misunderstanding misunderstanding is a theme that was big in Alabasta, and I think it's really even expanded upon in this arc, where Enaru thinks everyone's here for the gold, but they all have such different reasons. We might have actually talked about it a little bit.
We did.
last
We talked
volume.
about last time
Yeah,
how
they really do kind of have subtly different reasons.
how the man on top only sees the thing as like a one, like just everyone is here for one reason, but everyone else is here for very different reasons entirely.
Yeah, and he's like, all he can see, all the worth he can see in these ruins is the gold that he stripped from them. He doesn't even care Robin's really here.
Yeah.
But
He's like, you're too late. These ruins are worthless, and it's like the stuff that's still here is the most valuable thing in the world to Robin.
and it's the most valuable thing to the Shandorians. So it's
Yeah.
like he really doesn't understand how much value is still in these ruins, which I think Enaru's dialogue is very interesting from this chapter on. Like every single one of his lines just kind of shows you a little bit about his mindset versus everyone else's.
God, that apple thing is so good. And like this is also the point where I realized how much I like Kami and Eru's power for kind of the narrative, because it's a power that lets him pretty much get wherever he wants almost instantly, because there's a lot of places that are relevant for him to be, and he kind of zaps around between them over the next few chapters, and like it makes sense that he can do that.
I mean, what a perfect power from omnipotent God, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
They bring up a golden bell, which Eneru knew a bell was here. It was mythicized about, but he didn't know it was solid gold, which that's what piqued his interest there. The bell being here makes Robin think that there's more poneglyphs here as well. And this is an important part of this chapter too that might come back later. Who knows?
Yeah. So pretty soon after their conversation, we cut back to Conus and her father, where they meet. Is this one of the wounded Shandian warriors, or is this the angel?
This is one of Ineru's disciples.
Okay, yeah. So like that should make like his words carry even more weight when he's like, the kami's fucking insane.
Remember when we were like, Eneru's kind of chill here. He's laughing. He's letting people make their predictions, and like he doesn't care that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't really do anything for him. Like that didn't anger him. But also, as part of his plan, he just killed them anyways. Like they were completely different incidents, but he had no qualms with just killing his entire staff. Now that his plan is moving into its mysterious last phase.
He's Ozymandias.
A little bit.
And like this chapter is where we start like casually dealing out death, like we're going to be doing the rest of this volume.
Yeah.
Whenever Kami's soldier tells them about Kami's plan, Conus's father immediately throws her off the cliff, and I saw that panel. I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And then, like immediately, we see the beams start coming down.
He just knew.
Holy shit!
He knows how this works, and the first thing he thought of was his daughter.
This Kami is terrifying.
Yeah. I'll say. We also get to see this dude's son, like, in, I think, next chapter, which is just very sad.
Yeah. And it's even crazier because, they're not anywhere near the Kami right now.
Yeah. He was in the ruins. He's like, oh my god, there's someone leaking information halfway across the island. Hold on. Let me take care of this real quick.
Yeah. And then we keep, like, escalating the situation where we cut back to the Kami, and he like sends his electricity up the vine, which like completely shatters the ruins people are battling on and brings them down to him.
That's a good ass 2-page spread with a Sango smash attack.
Dude.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a colored version.
You can look it up.
We should take a break here real quick because my food's about to be delivered and I don't want to break in the middle of the chapter.
All right, let's take a little break. All right, we're back. Bradley has his food, and yet
I have my food, and I found out how to turn down my microphone levels some more.
We should
I think
just
we're
redo
good.
the entire conversation so we can all be at the same level.
I know. So we're gonna move on to chapter 273, but we have a new chapter cover story.
Yeah.
It features everyone's favorite, Ace.
It's
everybody
shit,
loves Ace.
God, I love him. So he dined and dashed. I'm really excited to see where this cover story goes because they're all fun, and so far I'm pretty sure all of them have like real world implications for stuff later on.
Yeah.
And like this is also like my favorite character we've gotten a cover story for. And one thing I want to make sure, before the whole Skypiea arc started, we had a bunch of stuff going on where like Ace's crew was trying to contact Whitebeard.
Yes.
And I think
Ace's crew.
Ace wasn't back yet, right?
No. Mm-mm.
So he
Ace-
might not.
Yeah.
Also, like, Ace's crew is Whitebeard. We know
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Or fuck, like
Shanks' crew. Shanks' crew is trying to contact Whitebeard.
Shanks.
Yes.
Yeah, Shanks' crew. That's right. I got that fucked up. Shanks' crew is trying to contact Whitebeard.
We haven't gotten a follow-up to that yet, yeah.
So Ace probably doesn't know that stuff's going on.
He would not, I would guess. I'm sure he has limited contact while
Yeah.
he's traveling like this.
Cell phones aren't that advanced.
Yeah.
We turn the page, and I have a sticky note, and I don't know why. I think maybe
Which page?
Which page?
this one where the ruins are all crumbling down.
With Robin on it?
Yeah,
It's because he calls Zoro a swordsman.
Yeah.
that's why I put it there. And
We
so,
know how you work.
So yeah, we've been talking about this whenever it comes up, and
Mm-hmm.
is Luffy the only one she's called by actual name so far?
I believe so.
Yes, it's the only one that she's called by name. So
Because I know she's done Navigator.
Navigator.
doctor
Yeah.
and swordsman.
So obviously this is something we're kind of keeping track of over time, and what I'm really excited for is to see the next time she calls someone by their real name, so I can kind of get a gauge on like what names mean to her, and like kind of what condition might trigger that.
Yeah. Since I didn't really look out for this on my first read through, I'm excited to see as
I
well.
think it would be really cool if by the end of the Skypiea arc, she calls Zoro by his real name. I would really like that.
We'll see what happens.
We would all like it.
Because they get some really cool moments in the rest of this volume.
Hell yes.
Like they even run into each other on this next page, and I was like, oh, I just love seeing them on the same page.
Yes, you would have died if you were normal.
Yeah. like one like whenever she says stuff like this, like she's kind of complimenting him, but also kind of jabbing at him at the same time.
It's also extremely ironic because she has a devil fruit power that makes her grow limbs.
Yeah.
Robin has a thing, and it's happened multiple times now, where she just has morbid humor, and like
Yeah.
she'll just say what it is. It's like,
Oh yeah.
oh, the clouds would be bloody if he was dead, so don't worry about it.
It's crazy.
God, I love her.
Yeah, you do. Me too.
The ruins crumble down, and everyone is gets kind of presented on the battlefield.
With the ruins.
Even okay, this fucking panel where Aneru just like BTFOs the giant snake.
Remember how I mentioned how the snake was casually tanking the burn bazooka?
Yeah, like these people, no one could do anything to it,
Yeah.
and like it was just it was like a battlefield hazard. Like killing it wasn't under consideration.
It's Enaru's first move. I think it's the first time he shows up all chapter, and he just offs the toughest like defense character in the fight.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I want to bring up that we passed.
Okay.
Wiper's reaction to getting to Shandora is you can just tell how he's in disbelief that this day even came.
Yeah,
Also, maybe that it's not quite how he pictured it. You can see as he's looking through it, you kind of see these ominous, just two little panels of him just kind of looking at different spots of the ruins, and they don't really look like all that.
Yeah, they're ruined, you know?
Yeah, and interestingly, even the snake's kind of happy. It's having the time of its life right now. From landing in these ruins for some reason.
Yeah, and the snake has like a title, and I think it was like the ruler of the skies or
Yeah.
something.
It's even crying of happiness here.
Yeah,
at the
so I
bottom.
don't know if that's just like a title they have for this beast, or if this is actually some kind of like creature sacred to Shandora. I don't know.
There's no way this snake would be relevant to the plot. It's just a dumb snake.
Yeah, there's no. Oda would never do that.
Never.
Snakes.
It's also really cool whenever on the pages where Aneru is doing his attack against the snake, just to kind of drive home that thing about Robin, Oda has her call Nami the Navigator again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think he's really wanting us to notice it here,
Mm-hmm.
because like usually those things are few and far between.
Yeah, 2 in 1 chapter this close, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the smackdown.
Yeah, so I have a sticky note here. Let's figure out why. I sometimes I have to like get back into whatever mental gear I was in when I put the sticky note down.
Which pages were it?
Okay. Oh, it's the page after the snake is struck down, because Wiper even calls it the ruler of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also bringing fact that like even my super strong bazooka yet one attack.
And it's interesting because he says that means Isa's
Yeah.
possessive, and then he trails off. And I think we purposefully don't know what he's talking about here. I think this is probably something we're gonna find out later.
I'd hazard to say he was gonna say that means Isa's in trouble.
Or dead.
Oh,
Or
you know
that-
what? I think you're right because he
that
saw
the-
her go in with
Yeah.
Tommy earlier.
And I mean, this will also double back to where Wiper, the heartless berserker, is showing his soft side for the people he cares about.
Yeah.
So it has that follow through.
And then the Kami makes a ball cloud. So these are made through a dial, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Ball cloud.
I mean,
Ball cloud.
I like this because he's using the same technology that Hattori uses.
Yeah,
So,
but he's
yeah.
just way cooler.
Yeah, but he's just way cooler. I love this double page spread of Nami hiding behind with Chopper while the other four face Enru.
And this is Oda is really good at building tension here, where there's 6 people standing here, and Kami's like, I predicted there would be 5 people, so there can't be 6 people left. And a good amount of the people sitting here can protect themselves, but we see Nami hiding there, and I'm just like, don't hurt her, please.
It's also like, man, just this idea of like, yeah, I predict 5 people are going to be there, and it's because he was going to force it. But it's also just really cool that he's like, I mean, I'm going to say 5 and I'm going to make it 5 because nothing could stop me from doing that, so I might as well just fucking say whatever I want. I'm the god.
Yeah, he can do whatever he pleases.
So I like that. Even his game, it's like, it doesn't even matter that it's rigged. It's the fact that it's rigged just shows you how strong I am.
And on the next page, it's just really fun because more Zoro and Robin, where he's like, "How about you?" and she's like, "Well, no, I don't want to do that." I just love them. I just love them bantering with each other.
Very good.
And then everyone here is like, "You know what, Kami? You're the one that should disappear," which is just a really badass moment.
It's so cool. I love this moment.
Willer, I just posted a big brain thought in our other chat.
Possibly. So it's notable here that he thinks that there's only 6. I mean, we know Luffy is somewhere out there, so even he's wrong about that. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing his reaction to his little calculations going wrong.
This next chapter's titled Oratorio, which for a second I was like, "Is that a fucking Pokemon?" But then I realized the Pokemon is Oratorio.
Yeah, you were almost there.
I was like, wait, that sounds so familiar. We open up the next chapter with a Gan4 flashback to when he was the Kami, and we see that he was much more thoughtful as a ruler than an Eru.
Oh, yeah.
And from there, we cut over to these children who kind of have that like kind of blind loyalty and fear of the Kami. And this makes me wonder, what did their society look like back before Kami and Eru, when they had like a more benevolent Kami? Like, were people always just like every action were they just like, oh, what would the Kami think of that? Like, I don't know. I want to. I think you can just tell that these people, the way they think is not natural. Everything is clouded by the Kami.
Yeah, it's cool because these kids were not alive for an age before Kami and Eru.
Yeah, they've only ever known.
While the adults were, because it hasn't been that long since Eneru's taken over.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was able to take over and put them in submission completely in the time he's been here, it's living under this incredible weight. And you know how crazy their crime system is. We covered in the beginning of the arc. So they have to live in constant fear of like, I mean, we can live safely, but one little screw up and there's nowhere to run. We're in the sky.
Yeah. And like, dude, this next page is so tragic for two reasons. Like, one, this kid talking about his dad, who is the commie soldier. You know, his friends are like, I hope you get to meet him soon. And we kind of have that dramatic irony where,
We know that he's dead.
yeah, and that's so getting, like, hearing I hope you get to meet him soon is just like really tragic. And then,
Also, he's a great man because he was chosen to serve the commie.
oh, man.
That's rough.
And then now Connus is on this mission to like warn everybody that the commie's gonna have like potentially kill them all. But we just saw on the previous page that like, is anyone even gonna listen to her? Because now everyone's gonna be turned against her because she disobeyed the commie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, they need to stop this motherfucker.
Oh, there's so much good stuff in this chapter for me.
And then like all this dialogue.
From Eneru is S tier. It's so good.
So he's kind of talking about, he kind of reveals this plan that he wants to return the island to the Blue Sea. He wants to bring it back down out of the sky, and we kind of learn about what kind of person he is. I think we tried to talk about this with every big villain in One Piece, where One Piece is very much like a clash of ideals. So we like to kind of identify what the ideals of a villain is. And Kami and Neru has like a very defined idea of like the way things should be, kind of like a natural hierarchy to the world, and he
Yeah.
wants to enforce it. And that hierarchy includes him on top. People have their place and things have their place. And he wants to return it there, even if, you know, that comes at the cost of lives.
I think his wording is endlessly interesting here. To follow like the through line of his little monologue here, he says there's something fundamentally wrong with this country, and he talks about returning to a state of where things belong.
Yeah.
He says there's a land called the Endless Vars, which is where he believes he belongs, and it's a paradise that he seeks. And he mocks them for fighting over a little tiny speck of land, which this land means everything to the people fighting for it. But to him, it's just a tiny speck. He's got grander ambitions. So that's again it's reinforcing this different way that they view this conflict completely. So, and then he gets into this little speech, which is my favorite part here. You are not clouds, but you were born in the sky. You are not birds, but you live in the sky. The foundation of this country in the sky is unnatural. Land is the place for land. Humans have a place for humans. The kami has a place for the kami. Each person has a place they must return to.
He says, all hearts return to darkness.
Basically, but this is such a cool motive to give a villain who's going to be a megalomaniacal god figure, where everyone has a place to return to. It's just nature, and I'm the god. I have a much greater place for me to return to, and you guys should stay in your place as well.
Yeah, like this whole speech he gave, I put sticky notes all over it, and I fucking love it because the part where he's talking about humans have a place for humans and the kami has a place for the kami, it put me very back into one of the mindsets I was in during Arlong Park, where for Arlong, humans being subjugated to fishmen it's just natural. He doesn't see anything wrong with treating people the way that he does, because he's like, to him, fishmen are people, but he's like, humans aren't people to him. Like, they just naturally have a lower place than fishmen. And the kami's kind of there too. He's like, in his mind, he has the right to do the stuff that he's doing.
I think what's fascinating about Eneru's point of view compared to Arlong's is that Arlong subjugating humans has a direct benefit to him, but Eneru doesn't even care about the upper yard.
Yeah.
He doesn't. The only thing he cares about here is where he has to return to, and putting humanity back in its place. He has no benefit except that he'll sleep better at night knowing that everything is where it should be. And I think that is so incredibly cruel, and it just makes him even scarier and more interesting than just a bad guy who's bad for badness sake. It adds this weird psychotic layer to him that I find
Yeah,
really interesting.
It's like I got the vibe that like all these people on this land, like it's not that he wants them to die over the course of this plan. It's that he doesn't care whether they live or die. Like he just wants the plan to go off.
Yeah.
And like man, I just really love the moments like this where we learn what the villain is all about. Because that's so much of One Piece, of Oda's like own admission, is that it's about like these clash of ideals.
And it's really interesting to look at these motives at the end of the plot line whenever we get to the end, and then seeing how they fit into the theme of each arc, because each arc has a very strong theme, like friendship and bonds in Alabasta, and we'll get to talk about the themes here at the end, but just something to keep in mind. I love Ganfor's reaction to it. He's appalled at this mindset.
Like this is a world of humans, and he knows what we know, that Enero is a human. He is a human just like us, but he's elevated himself in his own head.
Yeah. Big ass head.
And dude, so this next page, what was the town of pirates that they came to before Skypiea?
Mocktown?
Yeah, ever since like the first few pages of Mocktown, I've been noticing like One Piece getting like just a little bit darker and darker. Like when they get to Mocktown, like a guy gets set on fire and thrown out of a window, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And like we keep getting a little bit more like fast and loose with that. And because like 2 chapters ago we saw Conus's dad like casually get obliterated, and now without even like thinking about it, he says it like it's such a casual conversation. Kami admits to killing 650 people.
Yeah, he's like, I explained it to them and they rebelled against me, so I killed them.
Yeah, like I had to reread it because I almost missed it, because he says it like it's nothing. He killed 650 people.
Are you the Lord of Evil? Like, this dude is just batshit crazy, and I love... Ganfor is such a good character. I really underappreciated him when I was younger, but I feel for this old man.
It is... Oh, man. Like, this whole chapter... Because like, I went through most of this volume pretty quickly, because it's just the fighting, which is always... I always enjoy it. But these are the moments that, you know, we read One Piece for.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
And you like, in a couple pages, you see that Ganfor really wasn't comfortable with them even working for Enru. He's like, these are my followers, and now they're all dead. So you get this idea that this Ganfor has worked with these people for decades.
Yeah.
Easily, right? Because, I mean, he's probably been the god for a while before Enru shows up. So, and now they're just casually in like 2 panels mentioned to just have been wiped out.
Yeah. And then we turn a few pages, and like this Kami, this man who can like casually wipe people out from like across the continent, like just point blank on Ganfor's head, hits him with 20 million volts.
Ivari is such a cool looking attack.
And man, like if Enero wasn't already like the most terrifying villain so far to me in One Piece, he is now.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
He's about to go to work.
Yeah. And he, you know, to him, of course, he loves this because he's like, oh, now there's only 5 of us. See how right it was.
You all get to come with me.
Yeah, and this is kind of more playing into his mindset of like there are places that things and people belong, where he doesn't immediately go into like, oh, well, I'm going to kill all of you. He's like, no, you made it this far. You're strong. You're survivors. He's like, you belong
In
on
Godland.
the land that I'm going to be ruling.
His reaction to Robin saying she will refuse is really good. This chapter has too many good Enru moments.
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't understand. He's like, he's like, why would you refuse?
He just, yeah, it cannot register in his mind that these worthy people who made it this far don't understand that they have the opportunity to go where they belong in the Godland with him. So, I mean, if he refuses, he's just gonna wipe them out.
And you know, we've had like we've pointed out stuff like this with past villains. I know we did it with like Crocodile versus Luffy, where they'll be like clashing their ideals against each other. And like Crocodile had a moment where he was talking to Luffy where he just can't understand where Luffy's coming from, because to him the way he does stuff is so natural. And to Kami and Eru, he's like, why would you not want to come be like with me in the Godland where you're strong?
It's interesting comparing the two as well, because Crocodile was coming from a place of experience on the rough seas and looking down on who he thought couldn't make the cut. Eneru's coming from a huge place of delusion. So they're reaching these points of contrast with the protagonist's points of views in completely different ways.
And Robin gets shocked here, and
Yeah.
this is a lot scarier to me than when I see someone like Zoro or Nami get hurt, because just knowing what I do from like pop culture, I guess, or like just being around anime related things, like I know for a fact that Nami and Zoro aren't going anywhere. But I actually don't know that about Robin. I don't know her full place in the story,
She's
or if she's always around.
here.
So whenever I see her get hurt, I'm like, oh fuck. So I don't know.
And she's getting fucking hurt.
Yeah, like this is big.
Oh man.
And then we move into the Divina Commedia, Divine Comedy, which we talked about at the beginning of this segment. That I just think that is such a fucking cool chapter name for this volume.
Especially, it's especially how this ends. But Zoro catches Robin.
Yeah, dude.
This is big.
Everyone loved this. It's so good.
One, Zoro is getting bonus points with Joe here for catching Best Girl in her time of need. But two, this chapter has hit so many beats of Robin and Zoro, and it is
just like boom, boom, boom,
and it's all led up to here. It's so well done. It was spread out perfectly. It was never super in your face, and then you just get this moment where like he silently shows his care for a crewmate, one that he may not 100% trust yet because Zoro is so untrusting, but one who just fought with him, fought side by side against Eneru, and I think that's a way that Zoro will bond with people. So it's just a really big moment to see him catching her like that.
Yeah,
she's a woman.
Yeah, Zoro. I didn't know to what degree Zoro like held that like traditional like don't hit a woman thing. I don't know if like how I don't know. I didn't know he was like that, like a traditional like chivalrous guy.
You can keep that in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
I like how Eneru's just like, yeah, I saw.
Yeah, and I really liked that. I liked the I know I saw combined with what he said like right at the end of the last chapter, where he says, I despise conniving women, because like we've been talking about how Anero is very much like he believes kind of like in a hierarchy of the world, and he has like this everything has its place. And if he has like that very like old-fashioned view of the world, like I could believe Aneru like believes women as lesser than men, where he's like, oh, I hate conniving women. So he just doesn't really care. Of course, I don't think he really cares about talking to anybody. But
I don't think he cares about gender too much. Just I mean, also knowing like some later stuff, it's more like I feel like the conniving word is very important there. And right before he does that, he says, "You are shallow," which is funny coming from Eneru.
yeah,
But
because he's like the most.
I think it's really painting that he's looking into her personality and not liking what he's seeing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pretty much go immediately into trying to fight Inaru, and I say trying because like it's not gonna work. um, he's just too fast and too strong. Until well, actually, I'll get to that in a second. Fucking, I put a sticky note here, and I don't know why. It's where Anaru's talking about like for humans, death is their ultimate fear, and he steps on Zoro's head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it was just cool dialogue.
Creatures are made to bow down to the face of terror. I mean, this whole monologue, aside from talking about his worldview, he's talking about how kami means fear. So I think this is doing a really good job at instilling fear into the main characters and also the reader, because he's just going one by one by one.
And he's like forcing Zoro to bow down to him.
So I think he's being a really good embodiment of fear, which, if we go by Eneru's definition of fear, means he's being a really good embodiment of kami or God.
And then
But it's also just another thing is, that's how he instills fear on like the rest of his like whole island, is that he just kills whoever even like the thought of like going against him, he just immediately kills. You know, there's no in between for him. It's
And
like he's all or nothing when it comes to it. But at the same time, he's been killing all these people throughout the entire arc here, and there's still people defying him, so he's still wrong.
Yeah, good point.
And then, guys, we get one of my favorite page turns in the whole story so far.
Mm-hmm.
Wiper gets point blank on the kami, and we turn the page, and he says, "Do you know what a sea prism is?" And Oda did so good at making the situation against Aneru feel like 100% hopeless that it made me forget like sea prism stones even existed.
It's a 100% flip, because as soon as it doesn't matter if you're God, if you have a devil fruit, you're going to get bodied by sea prism stone.
Yeah, and sea prisms just feel like they feel like kryptonite, but used narratively better to me because of how rarely it's used, I suppose.
And I mean, devil fruits all have this inherent weakness, and it's not just one man. Like,
Yeah, everyone. It's on the table all the time.
It's on the table all the time, and this is the sea turned to stone. So I think it's a cool, and also the world needs it to function at all, because like, how do you send Eneru to prison if you catch him or something?
Yeah.
Or crocodile,
Yeah.
whoever.
Yeah.
It just had been long enough that like I forgot this was even an element on the table, and then I turned this page and I was like, oh my god. And then like even Aneru was like,
Whoa.
oh my god, I get some of my powers.
Relax, buddy.
And Wiper uses the reject dial, and
For the
for a
second
moment
time.
I was actually really, really hopeful. Because like, I don't know, Aneru goes down, and considering Skypiea has had like faster pacing than most of the story up to this point, I was like, maybe it's conceivable that he actually kind of did incapacitate him.
Oh, Bradley, Skypiea starts next volume, you fool.
yeah. And then,
It has as much content as the last 2 volumes in one.
Yeah.
and then Aneru does the it's pretty fucking cool. He like defibrillates himself with the electricity.
And then he closes with "Fear is the kami." Woo! All right, Joe, let's do this.
I don't like it.
I love it.
When we say it, do we mean like
The
just these
defibrillation.
chapters or what?
The defibrillation that he does to himself.
Oh, okay.
the reason being is like I don't know. It feels because of the Sea Prism Stone, and it's really early to like these are introduced, so we really don't know like the full like sorry, not early that they've been introduced, but it's been the first time I think ever where we actually see them be used in like actual combat against someone.
Yeah.
Because we don't see Smoker use his baton against Crocodile throughout the
Well,
entirety of the fight, so we don't know
He
what that
uses
looks
it
like.
on Luffy, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of whatever because Luffy isn't Logia. They're one is you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like I don't know. It just seems like rather quick that he can just regain all of his powers immediately, especially when he's just like kind of dying there, you know. But
I mean, the way they do work is as soon as you're not touching them, you do get your powers back.
right,
And
right.
I could picture this guy just being like, you know what a god would be cool if a god could do? Revive. And then he
Ooh.
just trains himself to subconsciously Jesus himself back to life. I think that's so cool, and it's such a roller coaster of emotions because it's hopeless, and then it's the most hopeful ever because Sea Prism. But as soon as the shot connects, he's not touching the Sea Prism anymore, and Eneru had one last trick up his sleeve, and I think it's a really crushing way to end the volume.
Yeah,
I think
but he's also unconscious, and it kind of just ruins that part. I don't know. I just like,
I would say the only thing that like maybe I thought this was really cool. The only thing that maybe got me on the fence is like I didn't know if he was actually 100% unconscious or not. Because like if he was totally unconscious, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of bullshit. But like if he's even like a little bit still there, I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Keep in mind, Crocodile and Eneru, but Crocodile talks about it, trained himself to reflexively dodge anything
Actually, you know what?
by
Yeah,
turning to sand.
he doesn't even have to think about
Even
it.
if it's an attack that he couldn't see, he could just feel it at the last second,
Yeah, like air pressure or some
and
shit.
his body would turn to sand as he just trained himself. So I'd like to believe that someone like Eneru, with such a powerful fruit, could subconsciously have this trick up his sleeve.
maybe. I
Maybe.
still don't like it. But that being said, I think the rest of the arc is great.
For this episode of Roundabout Cast, the role of Bradley is played by Joe.
I know.
I feel like if this was in any other story, I'd probably hate it, but just
But
because it's in One Piece,
that's me being nitpicky, but from a storytelling perspective, you're absolutely right. It's absolutely terrifying.
especially like the god bringing himself back to life.
Yeah, it's literally at this point where like everyone here has done everything in their power to like try to beat this man.
Bradley, is that the end of this? Yeah.
No, everyone buy Dragon Ball in full color.
Ooh. Bradley, you cannot. You straight up cannot predict the curveball that's coming next arc, or sorry,
I'm
next volume.
excited. Ever since you were right, like ever since that, like,
The cage came up.
since the cage, the rage in a cage, the
Yeah.
hell went up. Like it's been real shit.
Yeah, to me, like that's where Skypiea like hits its full sprint.
I want to see if something happens next volume.
I believe it does.
Oh, does it? Oh, good. I'm so
I'm
excited.
gonna-
You're
I'm-
like,
I'm gonna
We
go
are-
read the next volume so I can give it to Bradley right after.
I that was the last one that I have over here.
Your boy
Is
is
the
right.
next- Isn't oh no, we still have I think 3 more volumes of Skypiea.
2 or 3. Yeah.
2 or 3. Yeah. Because
Skypiea.
I totally forgot about something else that happens. during this.
Yes.
Whew.
Good stuff is coming. Some of the best writing in One Piece coming.
Y'all, that was a good fucking One Piece.
That was a good One Piece. Also relatively fast. I think it's under an hour.
Yeah, it is.
That felt like a long time to me.
We
Yeah.
started at 8. It was probably an hour and a half, maybe.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Nah, man, because we were like 20 minutes in when we took the break, and we're about to be 37 minutes in. So
Yeah,
we good. All right, thank you for joining us for One Piece talk.
let's give it up.
Bradley.
Hey.
Let's look forward to Bradley reading the next volume, which has us all
Yeah.
very excited.
Oh, good. Oh,
Oh.
good. It happened. I can't wait.
Goodbye.
Wait, what
Are
about
we-
hypothetical?
Oh yeah. All right. What you got?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Hypotheticals. Bradley, you got anything?
No, you know I don't.
What happened to you, man?
I used them all over
You
the past
you
several-
used to be Kami.
over the past several years. I used them all.
Oh my god. Okay, you gotta have something next time, or else
Okay.
you.
All right, okay. You have to turn into a soda. What do you turn into?
Ooh.
What is
Take
it?
note though, if you get drunk, you die.
What the? Oh, so I get to I become Pib Extra.
Pip Extra's good.
No, it's
I
not.
dude,
Really?
Joe, you get points because I fucking love Pib Extra. Me and Willer went to the fucking movie theater and they had Pib Extra, and I was so excited. And I ordered it, and I was like, dude, I fucking love Pib Extra. I don't know anyone else who likes it. And the cashier dude was like, I like Pib Extra, and I was like, you know what, this motherfucker, all right.
All right.
Well, we
I'm
have
a
to break,
I'm a
break off Willer's friendship now.
I'm a can of Dr. Pepper in Brazil, or anywhere that's not America. No one would touch me. No one would even look
Oh,
at me.
dude, I would be the fucking 1 year as a stocking stuffer. My grandma got me this bacon flavored soda. Dude,
Mm,
I couldn't even try a sip. Like, I smelled it. It smelled so fucking gross.
ugh.
I'm gonna be Coke 2.
Coke 2?
What?
Yeah.
The Revenge?
Yeah. Do y'all not know about Coke 2?
No.
Is that real?
Yeah, there's Coke 2.
This episode of Roundabout Cast is sponsored by Coke.
Coke too.
It's also called New Coke.
Oh my god, there's the Coke 2.
Oh, I've heard of New Coke. There's a whole part in Stranger Things season 3 where they talk about New Coke.
The Revenge of Coke.
Mm.
All right. I think we're done.
Let
here.
us know in the comments below.
What yeah.
Wait a minute, you guys.
Wait a fucking minute.
What?
You guys, I have good news.
Oh.
We have an email to read.
Yeah, all
Oh.
it took was bribery.
We do.
After bribery, the TNTM, who is a common commenter, he sent us an email. He said, "Hey guys, thought I'd fill this email with Ward spoilers. Perian's true power is,"
Blank.
and then he just left the email there, and I was like, "This is perfect. This is the best first email we could get."
Well, put it up on the screen right now.
Okay, it's up. We don't record the screen, so.
Just block out his email address so that he doesn't get spammed for any reasons.
You can't see the screen, so what do you
I'm
mean?
saying in the editing process.
Oh hell no! So I bribe people with access to our Discord. We'll open the Discord soon, and we'll give Mr. TNTM free reign for like the first few days, and then it'll be just us awkwardly, 5 of us, talking about I guess Worm.
He can see the weird stuff we post in the midcast chat, like the fucking was it Joe or Tyler who posted like the version of the merry-go with tits?
What?
That was Tyler. That was for sure Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah, nice save, Joe. Yeah, without context, these must be baffling.
That'd be hilarious. Kind of funny.
Oh no, I see it now. She's got a big ass too. All right, we're done.
Ooh.